Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku and Uraraka Adopted Eri and Fought Dante's Inferno Demons movie. Before we start, please go support Idron97 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Deku is a male. It was a month after the school festival. Eri was happy as can be, having a connection to the young man who saved him. His name is Izuku Midoriya. She's connected to him so much she's taken to calling him Papa, which gave Izuku parental instincts. The one who volunteered to help Izuku is none other than Ochaco Uraraka. She's taken it to call her Mama, which of course makes her heart melt and blush as well given who she calls Papa. They decided to walk to the park one day. Everything went well till a man who looked completely normal started killing people, claiming he's making people pay for their consequences of their sins. They find out his name, Dianir. Another man comes by. Everyone thinks he looks like he came from a different world. His name is Rondiil. He fights Dianir, telling everyone to evacuate the park. Chapter 1 Prologue. Dianir's POV. I'm part of a rich cult of devil worshippers in America. All of us are quirkless, so we get by using blades and sacrificing the innocent. I have broken every sin in the book. I shall never go home. I will only ask my fellow cultists to sacrifice me, so then I can come back and bring power, more power over these pathetic quirks. They call me Dianir, or the Dawning. The cult leader decides to finally sacrifice me. Most people would be scared. But I was excited. When he carved into me, I never felt so alive. I let out my last breath with a smile. I get to the light eye at the end of the tunnel. I was expecting God to be a man in a white robe, but no. He was a dragon. As expected. He sent me to hell. I walked through all 9 circles, learning spells from the most sinful of each circle. I began to get more and more arrogant. I will fight the devil himself, then I'll truly bring more power to earth than those quirks. The devil accepts my challenge. I take the demon's scythe I got from killing while a demon, and slice him in the gut. I quickly realize the real fight has now begun, because now I released him from his prison. My scythe disintegrates in his hand. Come on, boy! Did you really think you can kill me with my own weapon? Devil said. I quickly use my limbo spell to create not a blast, but a weapon. The devil looks at me in shock. I then take out a crystal skull and show him all the souls I have. I feel a power rushing through my veins and say, "Now your soul is mine!" The devil looks at me afraid, and now's my chance. I slice him open and take his soul and put it in a crystal shard, of which I then eat. I have all the power in the world. I now come back to my mangled up body of that has been decomposing for a while, which matters not. Because now I'm back in my former glory and then some. I can now hear all the sins around me. I cannot contain myself. Though I spare my fellow cultists, everyone else is as good as dead. Heroes, villains, even the so-called innocent. They will all pay for their sins. What better place to start than the UA High School, where anyone with a quirk can enter. Chapter 2 A New Beginning. A month after the school festival and longer since Eri was rescued by Izuku and his friends, he was the one to take care of the little snowball Eri, who she grows an attachment towards Izuku. So much so she calls him Papa. Hey Deku! A happy-sounding voice said. Oh, hey Uraraka! Izuku said with a smile. I was wondering if you wanted to hang out today, Ochaco said. Can I come, Mama? Eri said with sad eyes. Oh, of course you can, cutie, Ochaco said, pinching her cheeks. I'd love to, Uraraka-san. I was thinking about taking Eri for a walk to the park today. Wanna come? Izuku said. Of course I do. But first let's get something to eat. I'm starving, Ochaco said. Yeah, I'm hungry too, Eri said. Well, hi hungry one and hungry two. I'm Papa, Izuku said, laughing. Ochaco then glares at Izuku, same with Eri, telling him they're not amused. Tough crowd. Alright, let's get something to eat, Izuku said, rubbing the back of his head. Yay! Both Ochaco and Eri yelled in excitement. Did Deku really just make a dad joke? Says the ash blonde sitting on the couch as the little family left. Izuku, Ochaco, and Eri all went to a restaurant that wasn't too far from the park. They took their seats and looked through the menu. They order and wait for their food. So Deku, how do you like being called Papa at the age of 16? Ochaco asked, smiling. I honestly love it. I actually feel like a father. How do you like being called Mama? Deku says, teasing as he turns red a little, knowing what he asks. Now why'd you go and ask that for? Deku thought. Well, to be honest, I actually really like being called Mama by her. It almost feels like we're a family. Ochaco stopped before she finished that last word and turned red as a tomato. No. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Ochaco says, covering her face, floating away while Eri laughs to near death. You're so silly, Mama, Eri says while laughing. That also makes Izuku start to laugh. It's a good thing this restaurant isn't busy today, Izuku says, laughing with his adopted daughter. Ochaco releases herself from her zero-gravity quirk and laughs with Izuku and Eri to try to make it less awkward. Time skip after they eat. After they get done eating, they go down to the park and go walk for a bit till they find a good spot to sit down. They sit down under a tree and lie down in the grass. The ground was soft, and the wind was blowing a nice cool breeze. They were all relaxed, and no villain in sight. Eri decided to lay down on Izuku's chest and fall asleep. Looks like Eri got tired, Ochaco said, looking at Eri patting her head. Yeah, she looks so peaceful. I'm glad she's happier. She's been through enough hell, Izuku says, rubbing her back. You got that right, Ochaco says, scooting closer to Izuku, putting her head on his shoulder while rubbing Eri's head. Izuku gets red as hell, looking away, trying to hide his red face. What's wrong, Deku? Ochaco says, looking at Izuku. Oh. Nothing. Izuku says, breathing in and out. Izuku calmed down, giving Eri a kiss on the head as he dozes off along with Ochaco. Everything was going well for Izuku. He had a little girl who calls her Papa, and the girl of her dreams laying her head on his shoulders, though they were not dating. They truly felt like a family, though they can't say it without getting as red as a tomato. When they woke up, they were approached by a man seemingly in his 30s that had orange hair and yellow hair, and scar on his face and neck, a yellow slit eye, and a normal blue eye. He had a ratty hooded jacket on, and he looked a bit homeless. Can I help you? Izuku said. Oh. Yeah, I was wondering if you two went to UA. I'm a huge fan, the man said. Why yeah, we go to UA? Izuku said. Oh. Nice. See, I wanted to originally go to UA, but my quirk didn't kick until recently. Mind if I can take a tour? The man said. Well, you'll have to get permission from one of the pro heroes that work there to get access, Ochaco said. Oh, okay. By the way, you seem pretty pure, young lady. I can't see a sin in you. Though you're still young. You want to be a hero so you can help your family. I wouldn't say it's greed, you just want to help your family, which keeps you sin-free for now, the man said. Oh, thank you, I guess. What about Deku? He's probably the purest guy I know, Ochaco said. Oh, I'm sorry your broccoli-headed friend has to go. He's committed a sin that devastated his loved ones. Ochaco, take Eri and go, Izuku says before dodging a dark beam that disintegrated the tree completely, leaving a crater where the tree was. DKU! Ochaco yells in a panic, waking up Eri. What's wrong, Mama? Eri says, slightly scared. Eri looked back to see Izuku blocking a path against the demonic man. Papa! Eri screamed, crying. Ochaco! Go! Hurry! Izuku said, charging at the man. A gust of wind started to hit, and Ochaco made a run for it, trying to comfort Eri as she cries. At the UA dorms. Ochaco and Eri made it to the UA dorms, Eri still crying. Oh my god! Are you two alright? Where's Midoriya? Says Mina. We're okay, but Deku needs help. He's facing a villain that tried to kill him because he saw a sin in Deku or something, Ochaco said. Deku? Really? What sin would he have committed? I hate the guy, but he doesn't have a mean bone in his body, Katsuki said. Yeah. What could Midobro have done? Kurashima said. I don't know, but after he mentioned that, he shot a dark beam at him. He dodged it, but it turned the tree we were laying under to ash," Ochaco said. "Why are we standing here for then? We need to help him fight this villain," Tenya said. "Yeah. Let's kick some ass," Kirashima said. "If this bucker says that Deku needs to die because of his sins, he's really gonna hate me," Katsuki said. "If anything, I think he'd tell you to join him," Denki said. "Then I'll blow his face up Dunce's face," Katsuki shouted. "All right. Enough talking. Let's go help Midoriya. Everyone go without me, we're gonna need the help of the pro heroes for this." "Right," everyone shouted. Back at the park. "Did you really think you could defeat me so easily?" the man says. "Who and what the hell are you?" Izuku says in pain. "I am the Dawning. I am Dianir," Dianir said. "What do you want with me?" Izuku asked, grasping to himself. "I want you to pay for your sins," Dianir said. "What sins?" Izuku said. "Don't play dumb. I see that scar on the back of your neck. Everyone thinks it's because you were fighting some strong villain. But I know what you really did," Dianir said. Izuku stood there in front of him in shock. That's not me." "Not anymore," Izuku shouted. "No, but the thoughts still linger within you. I'm here to finish what you started," Dianir said as he got a seed out from his hand. He pointed it at Izuku and a black mist slowly shot at him. Before the mist hit Izuku, he saw a black void. This black void saved him from the mist. He noticed it wasn't a void, but dark shadow. Izuku was confused at first, but then he looked behind him. He saw Tokoyami. He didn't come alone though. Everyone from Class 1 came to his rescue, plus some pro heroes. "Hey, Lava Head! You chose the wrong sinner," Katsuki said as he blasted him with his explosive quirk. "Sai sinners will die with other sinners," Dianir said, blocking all of Katsuki's attack. Tokoyami used Dark Shadow to block his attack as he charges at him with his sword he got out of his dorm room. "Revelry in the dark," he said. Ochaco lifted up a boulder with her quirk and shot it over Dianir, while Mina shot acid at him in his face. After Ochaco released the boulder, Dianir shot it with his dark beam, shattering it with ease. "Thank you, Ochaco. That gives me an idea," Tokoyami said as he tells Dark Shadow to surround Dianir with his wings. Tokoyami's plan seemed to have worked, but seeing that Dianir was blasting his dark beam, Dark Shadow was getting bigger and more powerful by the second, which is making Dark Shadow harder to control for Tokoyami. Dark Shadow started to go berserk. "Finally! Someone worthy!" Dianir said as he clashed with Dark Shadow. Dianir started to notice that Dark Shadow was getting bigger every time he used his Limbo Blast. He thought of another way to take Dark Shadow down. "I'm impressed, little birdie! You gave me quite the thrashing. I hate to cut the fun short, but this battle is already won," Dianir said as he shot a pillar of hellfire, scaring Dark Shadow. Shoto knew he had to act fast. He shot a pillar of ice at him, followed by his own hellfire, causing an explosion, causing everyone to fall back. Everyone waited for the smoke to clear out to see if they won. "Do you think he survived?" Ochaco said, coughing. "Only one way to find out," Kirashima said. The smoke cleared off and Dianir was still standing without a scratch. "Idiot! Do you really think that would kill me? I went through hell and even killed the devil himself," Dianir said while everyone looked at him in shock. "Now, Izuku, wasn't it? Say goodbye to your friends. I want them to see you finish what you started," Dianir said. "Finish what?" "Deku!" Katsuki shouted. "You should know, Katsuki. You're the reason he started this in the first place. But how he survived will still be a mystery," Dianir said. Katsuki got a look on his face that was filled with shock and realization. "If you want to be a hero so badly, just pray that you'll have a quirk in your next life. And take a swan dive off a building." Katsuki remembered the words he said to Izuku. He then remembered that dreadful day. Izuku had jumped. "DQ, you idiot!" He looked at Izuku, seeing his costume torn, and saw the scar he got from the fall. Katsuki was shaking and tearing up. Baku bro! What does he mean by finish what he started? Kirashima said. Katsuki fell on his knees holding his head, finally silently sobbing. I won't let that happen again, Izuku said, charging towards him with a punch. DK, you know! Stop! Ochaco yelled. Before Izuku could land a hit, Dianir shot him back with a gust of wind. How vigilant! You fight the inevitable, which makes you even more of a sinner, Dianir says, taking out the same seed as before. The mist shot at Izuku faster than no one could stop this time. A dark aura surrounded Izuku. He then had a look of dread on his face. He then realized that his middle school past came back to haunt him as the voices in his head got louder till that's all he could hear. Dianir flicked the seed between him and Izuku. A tree that looks just as dead as it grew quickly and had a vine-like noose. Now Izuku, be a good boy and wrap your head around that vine there, Dianir said as Izuku had his head down, walking slowly towards the tree. Everyone laying on the ground injured, all they could do was shout at him to not do it. DKU! Stop! I'm sorry! Katsuki yelled with cracks in his voice. It's too late for that. He can't even hear any of you nor see any of you, Dianir said, cackling like a maniac. Deku! Please! Whatever he's talking about, don't do it! Please! Ochaco says, trying to stand up. Midobro! Don't do this, please! Kirashima said. Everyone yelled while all their bodies screamed in pain. Ochaco finally got on her feet, trembling, but was able to run towards Izuku. Deku, please! Ochaco said, about to pass out. Ignorant hitch! Dianir said as he shot his limbo beam at her and finally trembles. I'd hate to kill someone as pure as you. It'll be a waste of space for my soul collection. Don't get up again, Dianir said angrily. Everyone was watching Izuku in fear, thinking he was really gonna commit suicide in front of everyone who cares about him. Ochaco reaches out to Izuku, then finally passes out. As he finally got to the vine noose, he slowly put his head through the noose. Everyone looked at him and cried. Before Izuku could put his head all the way through the noose, everyone saw someone fly through a portal, cutting down the tree Izuku was about to end it all with. The tree disintegrated before the tree fell, making Izuku pass out. You asshole! That spell only works once per person, Dianir roared in anger. Who is that guy? Tenya said in pure shock, but thankful that he saved his friend Izuku. The figure shined a light on the ground, healing everyone who collapsed. Ochaco woke up feeling fresh as a daisy while everyone was ready for round 2 except for Izuku. The figure ordered everyone to get out of there. Ochaco quickly ran to grab Izuku. Dianir tried to blast her with his limbo beam, but to no avail after the figure blocked it with ease. Take him and get out of here, the figure said as Ochaco ran, and the figure shot a spell to mind link Ochaco with Izuku. Whatever you do, do not leave his side, the figure yelled. Chapter 3, Fly Dragon Fly. Ochaco's POV. As I'm carrying Deku from the park, I start to hear the most hurtful words I've ever heard, as if Bakugo was behind me. I look around, but he's not anywhere around me. As a matter of fact, no one is with me other than me and Deku. What am I hearing? These aren't my thoughts, are they? I thought long and hard about it. When I made it to the dorms, I brought Deku to his room and laid him down. Still hearing those hurtful words. Die, you useless shit! You don't deserve happiness! No one will love you! Everyone hates you! It should have just ended there. These words play on loop and then some. I finally came to conclusion that these words aren't coming from anyone, nor are they my thoughts, but Deku's thoughts. Has he had negative thoughts? Time to finish what you started. Those words hit me when I realized what he truly meant. Deku, what did you do to yourself? I say as tears form in my eyes. Mama, what happened to Papa? Eri said behind me. I don't know, sweetheart, I don't know. I say to Eri, tears still forming. I hear a knock on the door. It's opened, I said. I see Bakugo walk in, and all I can do is give him the death stare. What do you want? I say in a rude tone. Probably the same reason why you're here, Bakugo said. Look, you're going to tell just what that man meant by finish what he started. I say, practically yelling. Hey Eri, why don't you go play with Mina? I say, knowing I'm gonna say some language to the ash blonde. Alright, Sai, Bakugo said hesitantly. You what? I said, giving him an angry look. Well, when he and I were in middle school, he dreamed of being a hero and I bullied him for it, and after that I just got more arrogant with the goons that kept following me around. His quirk still didn't come, and so he was diagnosed quirkless. I then told him if he wanted to be a hero so bad that he should jump off a roof and hope to come back with a quirk. Bakugo said with his hair covering his eyes, looking down. That stung me just hearing it. Katsuki Bakugo, I said, trying to look cheery. What? Bakugo said, looking at me with his usual arrogant look. Put your hands together, I said. Okay, he said as he put his hands together. All right. Now get on your knees, I said. Okay, he says, getting on his knees. All right, good. Now bow your head and close your eyes, I say, getting ready to unleash my fury. I'm okay, he says, looking like he's praying. Good, now pray to your God this doesn't kill you, you bucking blonde prick, I say as I backslap him with all my rage. The slap was so hard and so loud that Deku woke up and the whole dorm heard it. Oh, son of a hitch, he said, floating. Damn right you're a son of a hitch. You're lucky if I don't throw you out the window to float out of the bucking atmosphere, I yelled, still having a lot of rage built up in me. Everyone came into Deku's dorm. What happened? I heard something go off, Tenya said, karate chopping the air. Oh, something went off all right. This prick is the reason why DKU feels like this in the first place, I said, yelling. Mama? Eri said, looking at me scared to death. You are now scarier than Bakugo, Karashima said. Shut up, shitty hair, Bakugo said. No, you shut up, shitty heart, I said while he covers his head still floating. I look over to Eri and Deku and look at the fear in both of their eyes, then everyone else in the dorm room. Everyone was filled with fear, even Bakugo. Everyone who isn't Deku or Eri, get out of here, I say as everyone walks out. I'm still floating, Aro Ochaco, Bakugo said, trying not to piss me off any more than he already did. Oh right. Release Dot, I say, glaring at Bakugo as he trembles on the floor, practically crawling out. I am so sorry you had to see that, I said while hugging Deku and Eri. It's okay, Ochaco, and remind me to never make you angry, Deku said. Yeah. You scared Uncle Kaken, Eri said, giggling a little. Yeah. I did, didn't I? I said, giggling a little, shaking a little as well. By the way, Uraraka-san, what did Kaken say to make you so angry? Deku said. Oh, he told how you got that scar on the back of your neck, I say as tears start to form in my eyes hearing the words going through Deku's head. He did? Deku said with a shocked look in his face. I nodded my head. After that I started crying rivers on Deku's chest, and hearing the voices in his head only made me cry harder. I practically grab his shirt in my fists as I'm bawling my eyes out. Papa, what's wrong with Mama? Eri said, tears forming in her eyes. Let's just say she found something out that I didn't want anyone finding out, Deku said as my eyes are practically dry right now but still crying. Eri, come with me. Your mama needs some alone time with Papa, Mina said, looking at me concerned. Okay, Aunt Mina, Eri said, walking with Mina. Deku, you're none of those things, I said, trying to calm my crying down but failed. What do you mean, Uraraka-san? Deku said, wrapping his arms around me. I'm hearing every word that's going through your head. And none of it is true, I yelled, still sobbing in his tear-soaked shirt. What? What are you talking about? Deku said, trying to play dumb. That hooded figure, the one who saved you, then all of us. I think he's done something to me to hear your thoughts, I said, calming myself down. None of it is true, right? It's all just bullshit, right? Deku looked down in guilt, rolling up his left sleeve. I didn't get all my scars from fighting villains, Deku said. I look at his wrist and see his cuts that are obviously healed. Deku, why did it have to be you of all people? It's me who doesn't deserve a friend like you. You saved my life. And I couldn't even save yours. I say with tears still in my eyes. But you did. You made me float before I hit the ground, he says, wiping my tears away. Deku, I say as he hugs me. Why are you hugging her? She hates you. She just pretends to like you. She likes that Tenya guy. I heard that, I said, looking mad. What are you gonna do about it? Trap me in a crystal ball? You know what, that's a great idea, I said, grabbing Deku on the arm. I walk over to Tokoyami's room and knock on his door. Please do not come in, Tokoyami said. Tokoyami, do you know how to banish demons? I said. It stayed silent for a little bit in his room. Maybe I'll leave you alone now. I'm not worth your time. I just feel like a burden, Deku said as I still have his arm. You are a burden, you piece of shit. I hear that but in my voice. And I grab Deku by his cheeks, on his face, and bring him under my face. You listen here, you cute chubby cheek little shit. You are not a burden, you are worth my time, and that demon is coming out sooner or later. Deku let out a little laugh and I see that his face turned red. Did you just call me cute? He said. Oh my god, I called him cute. Before we could say anything else, Tokoyami opened the door. Is this about the demon that possesses Midoriya? He asks. Yes. Yes, it is, I say, hugging Deku's arm. Come in, Tokoyami said. Sit down, Midoriya, Tokoyami said. Deku sat down in front of a crystal ball and Tokoyami sat at the other side of it. Tokoyami got out a giant dusty book, which I'm assuming is his book of spells. Dark Shadow. What is the cure for this wicked man's blues? Tokoyami said. Fly, dragon, fly! Dark Shadow yelled in a whisper. A storm began to form. At the battle between Rondiil and Dianir in the sky. Rondiil, I must go help someone. I must rid a young man of his curse that Dianir has put on him, Adonis said. I understand. Go now. I will take care of this man. But don't take too long, Rondiil said. After Adonis left the side of Rondiil, he and Dianir clashed once again. Back in Tokoyami's dorm room. What's happening? Izuku asked. The room started to glimmer in sparks. Dark Shadow, I ask you to leave this room for your safety, Tokoyami said. Yes, Fumi, Dark Shadow said as he left the room. After Dark Shadow left the room, Tokoyami's eyes started to glow and started speaking in a language no one understood. After speaking the language, bright scaly wings wrapped around Izuku. No! 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 Izuku and Ochaco heard the demon scream for mercy. Last thing they saw was a bright light coating the room with a loud roar before the room went dark again. Deku! Ochaco said as Izuku was glimmering. Thank you for your assistance, Adonis, Tokoyami said. I feel incredible. Like nothing can hurt me anymore. I feel a fire inside me that makes me want to help anyone weak or strong, Izuku said. Be careful, Midoriya. That spell was supposed to rid the demon. It also makes people arrogant. Do not do anything that'll get you killed, Tokoyami said. I won't, I just want to help. The storm is still going. That figure and Dianir are still clashing. I want to help, Izuku said. Are you serious? We all seen that man's power. If you go there again, the same thing will happen, and I don't think we'll be able to save you again, Tokoyami said. But doesn't his spell only work once per person? Ochaco said. Tokoyami glared at Ochaco. Well, if that's the case, I have nothing to worry about, Izuku said as he ran out the dorm and into the elevator. Tokoyami and Ochaco tried to chase after him but failed. No one could stop him. You just had to open your mouth, didn't you? Tokoyami said. Ochaco looked down in guilt. At the battle between Rondiil and Dianir. Both Rondiil and Dianir were still clashing, though both were aching. Both looked like they were gonna collapse. Both of them looked down and saw green lightning with some blue coming at them at sound-breaking speed. Smash, the green lightning said, getting between the fight of Rondiil and Dianir, and punched Dianir in the jaw, sending him flying. Wait, what the? Rondiil thought. Was that the same kid under Dianir's spell? Rondiil asked in shock. The green lightning bolt slammed Dianir into the ground, grinding his head on the concrete, then slamming his head on the hard ground before punching him, making a crater, making him puke blood. Rondiil looked in shock but saw that Adonis was still within him. Dianir looked defeated. Arg! I'll be back. And until then, I will get what I'm after, Dianir said before disappearing in flames. Rondiil called Adonis back. That brought the green-head child back to his normal self. What was that? The broccoli asked. That was Adonis, my guardian dragon. I have to say, I'm impressed, Rondiil said. By the way, my name is Rondiil. Pleased to meet you, Rondiil said. I'm Izuku Midoriya, pleased to meet you too, Izuku said. Is your friends okay? He might try to come back and do that same trick on your friends. Or worse, Rondiil said. Yeah, they're all safe thanks to you, Izuku said. By the way, what's your quirk? He asked. My what? Rondiil said. Your quirk, your power, what's it called? Izuku asked. Oh. Well, magic, and that's all I can call it, Rondiil said. Izuku looked at him and started going into his usual muttering storm. Rondiil looked at him and trying to get him to snap out of it. DKU! A high-pitched girl voice was heard from the distance that snapped Izuku out of his muttering trance. Uraraka-san! Izuku yelled. Followed by Ochaco was Tokoyami, Shoto, Katsuki and the rest of the class. Tokoyami did not look happy. Damn it, Midoriya! We told you not to do it! And what do? You dash out of the dorm building and go head-on into danger! Tokoyami yelled angrily. You worried us all, Deku! Don't ever do that again, Ochaco said, trying not to tear up. Katsuki walked up to Izuku and grabbed him by the collar. Listen here, Deku, if you ever do that dumb shit again I will. Katsuki was cut off by Ochaco grabbing him by his shirt collar, pulling him back from Izuku. Guys! Stop! He wasn't himself. He was possessed by my guardian dragon, Rondiil said. Everyone looked at him with disbelief, not including Izuku. When one of you called on a dragon, Adonis went to rid the curse in Izuku. He overdid it again and gave him the pride of the dragons, Rondiil said. This all sounds like bullshit. Where did you even come from, Dragon Boy? Katsuki yelled. Wait. Where's Eri? Izuku said. She's with All Might, Ochaco said. Izuku let out a sigh of relief. Who's Eri? Rondiil said. Oh, that's this man's daughter. Only 16 and he already has a family, Kirashima said, wrapping his arm around Izuku. Oh really? Rondiil said, smirking. Oh yeah. And the brunette over there is the mother, Kirashima said, pointing at Ochaco, making it sound like Eri came out of her. Well damn, Izuku. Couldn't wait, huh? Rondiil said, smirking. Wait. You got it all wrong. She's not my biological daughter. I'm just her caretaker and Ochaco is just helping me with her, Izuku said, while both him and Ochaco get red as a tomato. Everyone laughed their butts off for a little bit until they decided to head home. With All Might and Eri. Grandpa Toshi, do you think Papa will be okay? Eri asked. Without a doubt in mind, young Eri. Midoriya is strong and will let nothing stop him, Tashinori said. What happens if he can't win? Eri asks. Then he'll find a way, Tashinori said, trying to comfort Eri. All Might had as much fun with Eri so she doesn't think about the danger Izuku could be in. After a while of Tashinori teaching Eri how to play some board games, a fire pillar came up and Dianir appeared. Well, if it isn't the former #1 hero, Dianir said. Tashinori looked in shock and worry, holding Eri behind him. What have you done with young Midoriya? Tashinori yelled. Don't worry. That little shit is safe. I must give him credit. He gave me quite a thrashing, Dianir said. What do you want? Tashinori said. I want that child's soul. But since I can't seem to get my hands on his soul because of a certain fae, I'll settle for this soul," Dianir said, touching the horn of Eri, then taking her soul from out of Eri, making her pass out, but still visible to Toshinori. "Young Eri!" Toshinori yelled as he went into his muscle form and dashed at Dianir. Toshinori went for a punch, but the punch was easily blocked. "Grandpa Toshi! Please don't let him take me!" Eri screamed, crying in fear. "Let her go now!" Toshinori yelled, trying to sound threatening. "Say goodbye to Grandpa Toshi now," Dianir said as he disappeared in a pillar of fire. "No!" Toshinori yelled, crying on Eri's unconscious body. With Class 1A. The class went back to the dorm building only to see All Might crying on Eri, who seems to be asleep. "All Might! What happened?" Izuku yelled, running to All Might. "Young Midoriya! I'm sorry! I'm so sorry! I couldn't protect her," All Might said, crying. "Wait! What happened to Eri?" Izuku said, full cowling. He took her. He took her soul," All Might said. "No and no! Damn it, damn it, damn it!" Izuku said, causing an earthquake in the dorm building. "Midoriya! Calm down, you're gonna destroy the building," Shoto said. "Calm down, calm down! How can I calm down when my daughter is in the hands of that monster in hell?" Izuku yelled, enraged. "Izuku! There is a way I can help," Rondiil said. "Well, spit it out. I don't want to wait any longer," Izuku said, still in full cowling. Chapter 4, Parental Instincts. "I have to cast a sleeping spell towards you, then mark your soul to hell. It's a risky one, for if you end up dying in hell, then you'll be stuck there forever," Rondiil noted. "Well, abracadabra, I'm going to hell," Izuku said, wanting to waste no time. "Midoriya! You're not really considering this, are you?" Tokoyami said. "Anything to save Eri. She's already been through hell. I'll do anything to save her," Izuku said. Everyone looked in shock, even Katsuki, that Izuku was really thinking about going through hell to save Eri. "I told you he has parental instincts," All Might said. "Deku-kun! If you're really doing this, please be careful," Ochaco said, hugging Izuku, holding back her tears. "Ochaco," Katsuki said, holding her shoulder. "If he can survive me in middle school without a quirk, then he can surely survive hell now," Katsuki said, assuring Ochaco and encouraging Izuku. "Well, I guess that's settled," Rondiil said. "Alright, Izuku, I'm gonna ask you to lay down," Rondiil said as Izuku laid down on one of the couches and held Eri in his arms. After Rondiil casted the sleeping spell, Izuku almost immediately went to sleep. After that, Rondiil marked him, which sent him to hell. "Please be careful, Deku," Ochaco said, worrying. Chapter 5, Limbo. Deku's POV. As I fall through the fiery pit, I find myself in front of Hell's gates. The gates weren't opening for me, probably because I was still alive. I used one for all to break through the gates and find myself in the first circle. I see a dragon spirit that didn't look threatening, but looked like he wanted to help me. "Greetings, child. For your bravery of considering such a task, my fae friend named Rondiil has sent me to help you," the dragon spirit said. "Where in hell am I? Where's Eri?" Izuku said. "Eri is alone in the 9th circle. Ever since Dianir defeated the former devil, he himself is now the leader of hell," the dragon spirit said. "This is the first floor. Limbo. Where the unborn and none-baptized go," he said. "I must get through here and find Eri," I said, determined. I start running and killing all the demons trying to attack me. I take one of their weapons, which looks like a demonic-looking sword. It was light enough to carry, so I take the scabbard to put the sword in. I see what looks like unborn fetuses, but with blades for arms. They start charging at me, so I take my sword and lift some rocks, making them fall back. I then start killing them one by one. "I don't enjoy killing, but I'll make an exception seeing that I'm in hell," I said. "Indeed, here you don't have that choice," Adonis said. I get stopped by a locked door but kick it open with ease with my quirk. I hear someone screaming, envy, lust, greed, murder. Atenus! Who or what is that? I asked. That is the judgment of death. He's the one to send the forgotten dead to their circle. To get to the next circle, you must get past him, though easier said than done, Atenus said. I don't care how hard it'll be. I will save Eri, I said. I run up to the judge of the dead, killing any demon in my way. Hey, Tower Head! I shout, sounding like Kakin. Who said that? He said. Where's Eri? I shouted. Ha ha! I was expecting you, he said, laughing. He starts to smell me. Envy? Suicide? Murder? He said, sniffing at me. Sniff again, Bucker, I said, powering up one for all. You dare question the judgment of death? You shall suffer in the lowest pit of hell, he said, trying to grab me. I dodge his hand and power up, full cowling at 30%. I find out he's blind and make that my advantage. I jump up and slit his face, which made him mad. I dealt with Kakin most of my life, so his rage didn't faze me. He started puking everywhere and wait for an opening. I notice a wheel that he puts the souls on with a lever. I jump to a wall and hold on. He then starts to try sniffing me out, but on the floor. I run up the wall and kick the back of his head. He hit the wheel as planned. His face was impaled but still alive, squirming. I run up to the lever and turn it. After I turn the lever, his face split in half, killing him almost instantly as he falls down to what seems to be the next circle. Chapter 6: Lust. After I jump off to the next circle, I find myself in a storm. Luckily, I landed on a platform. And in front of me is a tower, but before I could run to it, it was surrounded by a tornado that whipped around souls. Atenus, what is that tower? I asked. This is the Circle of Lust, and that is the Maiden's Tower. Here you will see the souls who cheated, graped, and used the opposite hex of them. You will also find succubus. Do not be fooled by their looks, Atenus said. How do I get through this circle? I asked, trying to stay calm. You must get through that storm and up that tower, Atenus said. But how do I do that? I asked. Try using your quirk to open the entrance of the tower, Atenus said. I understood and tried to find the courage within me to attempt the dumbest thing I may ever do. I charge in full cowling as fast as I can. I close my eyes and charge in with a kick. Next thing I know, I hit something solid. I open my eyes and see that I hit a wall. I look back and see the storm behind me. Well, aren't you a strong one? I heard someone say. Why don't you stay a while? I see a hand on my chest and see a woman figure behind me. Oh my God! You're so muscular! I want more of you! She said, coming in front of me, trying to lay me down. Izuku, no! Atenus said as I shake my head and push the succubus back with one for all, then use my sword and impale her. She let out a hexual moan before she died, and I couldn't have felt more uncomfortable. Be more careful next time! You were about to be consumed, Atenus said. I nodded, then continued. The Maiden of Lust is the one you really need to be careful with. She can lure men in with a spitting image of the woman they love most, Atenus said. That's when I actually started to worry. Izuku, I know it may be hard, but do not be fooled by her illusions, Atenus said, getting me to continue. I got to what looks like an elevator but with no top. I didn't bother using the elevator as I started to run up the wall with my quirk. I see an end and punch through it with ease. I made it to the top and I look around. Deku-kun! I hear a familiar voice. I see a certain brunette running towards me. Uraraka-san! I say as she hugs me. I was worried, so I had your friend Rondiil to send me after you, Ochaco said. Uraraka-san, you shouldn't have done that. What if you got hurt? I say. You know, Deku, with Eri gone, I realized hell isn't all that bad. We can do whatever we want, Ochaco said as I start feeling her tugging on my pants. I pushed her off of me and she started to change. Skeletal tentacles formed on her back and her mouth was ear to ear. Uraraka-san! What happened to you? I yell. What do you mean, Deku-kun? Don't you want me? Ochaco said. Izuku. Remember. You're in hell. That is not Ochaco, Adonis said. I dodged the corrupted-looking Ochaco and get my sword out. It wasn't going to be easy for me. The Maiden of Lust tried to attack me with her tentacle but dodged and cut it away with the sword. She got out of balance as I go for the killing blow. She gave me Ochaco's sad look which hurt me and made me hold back. I couldn't hurt Ochaco no matter how much I wanted to save someone. How could I call myself a hero? I need to remember who and what I'm fighting for. I somehow saw right through the Maiden and not see Ochaco, but none other than a terrifying demon. I cut another tentacle that knocked her unbalanced once again and shoved my sword in her gut. She let out a scream which actually sounded like Ochaco as she fades away. I break down crying knowing that it wasn't her but found out that I would have to hurt her if I had to save someone if it came down to it. No! That will never happen. Not a chance. She wouldn't hurt someone who's innocent. You did the right thing, Izuku. You saw through her illusions and smite her, Adonis said, comforting me. Now come on. We got 7 more circles to go, he said as I got myself up. Ochaco's POV. It's been a week since Deku went to hell to attempt to save Eri. Rondiil casts a spell at both of them so they don't decompose or go hungry in their sleep. He also makes sure they keep breathing as well. He said that if Deku stops breathing, it means he's dead but hasn't failed. I hope they both come back. I can't imagine life without him or Eri. Deku, please be okay, I say, holding his face. He looks so peaceful holding on to Eri. I start to tear up imagining what he's having to go through. I put my head under his chin and relieved he's still breathing. Deku, I love you, I said, knowing he can't hear me as I kiss him, still tearing up. I knew you were too brave for your own good, but to actually go through hell? I say, crying under his chin, holding Eri as I hear her breath as well. I feel a hand on my shoulder and see it's Tsuyu. How long were you standing there, Tsu? I asked. Long enough, Ochaco. Long enough, Tsuyu said. You're really worried about him, aren't you? She said. How could I not be? He's going through hell literally, I said. Yes, to save Eri from that monster, Tsuyu said. I know he'll succeed, but will he come back? I'm worried about both of them, but if Deku dies in hell he won't be coming back, I said. Ochaco. All I can say is have faith in Midoriya. He's a great hero, and this is proof. He'll do anything to save a life, even having to go through hell. I can't promise that he'll be back. But I can promise that once Eri comes back, Midoriya will never be forgotten, Tsuyu said. I know, but I just want both of them to come back. Eri sees Deku as a father and I can't lose him. I know he calls me mama, but I said, trying to hold back my tears but failed. Tsuyu hugged me as I cry on her shoulder. Then all the other girls saw and came to huddle around me as they all tried to comfort me. I know it's hard, Ochaco, but please stay strong for Eri, Momo said. I know Midoriya will come back. He just has to, Mina said, tears forming in her eyes. Midoriya has been through hell and back for us over and over again. I know he'll come back, I just know it, Toru said, trying to assure us all. All I could do was think of all the things he's seeing. I know he's strong, and he's just grown more confident in himself. I can't help but think. Deku, please come back for Eri's sake and mine. I can't do this alone, I yell as I'm still crying on Tsuyu as everyone else is trying to comfort me. Chapter 7, Gluttony. Deku's POV. As I jump from the second circle to the third, I'm greeted with the foulest smell that ever hit my nostrils. I think I'm gonna be sick, I say as I throw up. Stay vigilant, Izuku, Adonis said. Alright, I say, trying to ignore the smell. If the smell wasn't bad enough, I see buttholes that crap fire, and some god-awful looking monsters eating people while they try to eat some slop that is the floor, not to mention I see faces on the walls as well. Finally there's Cerberus. You'd think he'd be a 3-headed hellhound, but nope. He looks like he's nothing but a deformed face, and when he opens his mouth 3 snake-like heads pop out that have human teeth. It was the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Izuku, I know it looks bad, but keep pushing. For Eri's sake, Adonis said. Yes, I said, groaning but determined. As I approach Cerberus, hacking and slashing with one for all and my sword, he attacks me with one of his heads. He was faster than I thought, but as I'm struggling in his jaw he threw me up, which is exactly what I wanted. As I almost fall into his mouth, I hit his lower jaw and run my sword all the down his neck, taking out one head. I use one for all and jump behind another head, cutting off that one. As I land on the ground that is surrounded by what looks like stomach acid, I lost my guard as the middle head grabbed me, then swallowed me. I think this is the end because I drop my sword. But I then hear the words Eri said to me when I first saw her. Please don't go. I won't give up on you, Eri. I then power up full calling and shout from the depths of my heart. Detroit smash! I explode out of the neck of the middle head and grab my sword. That was foul, I said. You're almost out of here, Izuku. Hang in there, Adonis said. I find a portal, and seeing there's nowhere else to go, I jump through. The smell, thank God, was gone. But the nightmare was still going on. I see one of those hideous-looking monsters eating what looked like a dead body. But it wasn't alone, I saw another one as well. They were both bigger than the ones I saw outside the portal. I puke again because holy shit, they are hideous. After I puke, I charge after one of the monsters. As I cut one of them open, I see the same slop that the souls were eating off the ground as they were being chased down by the monsters. The monsters had mouths for hands, so it tried to eat the slop with their hands to heal itself. I realized that, and cut their hands open, then realized that the wound I made turned into a mouth as well. I see that I was getting nowhere with the sword, so I sheath the blade and charge at the monsters with my quirk. I managed to kill them instantly with that. After that I puked again. Izuku! Up there! Adonis said as I notice a portal to the other side of this place. Oh yes! Finally! I say in relief. Aizawa's POV. I walk towards the dorms, hearing that Midoriya has been sleeping for a while now. Toshinori tells me that it's his fault that he's asleep. A man seems to be keeping him healthy with a quirk. I haven't heard much except my students claim that Midoriya is going through hell to save Eri. They all seem devastated. Toshinori told me he saw a man named Dianir take Eri's soul right in front of him. I decided to ask the man named Rondiil to tell me what exactly is going on. Excuse me, what happened with Midoriya? I asked. I'm keeping his body healthy with my Ma quirk, as he's going through hell to save Eri. I'm not proud of it, but I think I'd feel more bad watching him fall apart while he couldn't do anything, Rondiil said. Why you mean, he's in hell? You sent one of my students to hell. I yelled and raged, activating my quirk, but didn't work on him. Sir! Please! He wanted to save Eri. And trust me, everyone voted against it, but he didn't listen. There was no stopping him, Rondiil said. I let out a sigh of frustration. That somehow sounds like something Midoriya would do. I guess it only shows me that he would go through hell if it meant saving an innocent life. Especially someone like Eri, I said as Toshinori comes up behind me. I'm telling you, Aizawa, he's got a heart of a hero and a parent. I believe he'll come back and have one hell of a story to tell us. No pun intended, Toshinori said as I give him a smile. You guys must really believe in him. No wonder he's so determined, Rondiil said. Trust me, he wasn't always like that. He's definitely grown into an incredible young hero, Toshinori said. As Rondiil got done with his ritual on Midoriya and Eri, I walk up to him and look down on him holding Eri. I notice an orb that he's wearing around his neck. The orb glue green. Midoriya, I always knew you were reckless trying to save a life, but I never thought you would ever volunteer to go to hell to save someone, but I guess Toshinori was right. You have become a parent, I say, building up tears in my eyes. You better thank Dianir for keeping your seat warm. You raised some hell yourself. You gave me trouble, I'm not gonna lie. I chuckle as I'm holding Midoriya's arm that holds Eri as a tear falls on Midoriya's eye. Heh, look at me, tearing up over you sleeping. I must be pathetic. Everyone misses you, Midoriya. And yes, even Bakugo, I said as I slowly walk out of the dorms looking back at Midoriya before leaving. Kick his ass, young Midoriya. Chapter 8 Greed. Deku's POV. As I got out of that god-awful place, I start to feel like I'm in a metal melting factory, which I would take over the gluttony circle any day. I look over the trails and see lakes of melted gold, and like the other previous circles I hear screaming that can be compared to Kakin. But I don't see anyone that could be screaming until I took a closer look at the lakes of gold. I see people in these lakes trying to get out but to no avail. What is this circle? I asked. This is the circle of greed. The place where the rich wanting everything to themselves. The dictators, the corrupt kings and governments. Adonis said. This place is terrible, but it's still better than the gluttony circle. If I ever do go to hell, I hope I don't ever go there, I said, shivering at the thought. Be aware, Izuku, once you complete this mission, you'll have a peaceful afterlife, Adonis said. Thank you, Adonis, I said to the dragon spirit. After walking around, I see gold-coated demons charging at me slowly. I assume these guys are the tanks. Not wanting to burn my hands or feet, I of course used my sword with my quirk. They were definitely harder to kill, but I managed. One grabbed me by the arm, burning me. Without thinking, I used my other hand to punch it away, of course burning my hand. You've got some serious pain tolerance, Izuku, Adonis said. Well, when your former bully has an explosive quirk, you tend to get used to it, I say, holding my arm in pain. After seeing the other demons covered in gold, I get back up and start charging at them one by one. After that, I see a golden wheel. It looked like something that belonged in a casino. It had 5 switches that I can only flip one at a time. Each of them stopped when it unlocked one part of the wheel. After one part of the wheel unlocked, I saw a man walk up from the top of the wheel. The man looked way too familiar. It couldn't be All for One. All Might's successor, who is also my son, All for One said. Well, why are you here? I yelled. Simple. Dianir offered me power beyond my wildest dreams. All I had to do was give him to you, All for One said, pointing at me. I look at him, scared but angry, as he walks away. I begin to see the rest of the LOV around me. Shigaraki, Dabi, Kurogyri, Twice, Muscular, Toga, and Moonfish. All of them surrounded me. Izuku, you are better off killing them. Remember, you're in hell. I know you don't like killing, but I apologize, you don't have any other choice, Adonis said as I get my sword ready. Izuku-kun. My God, what a coincidence. You're in hell too? We can be together forever, you and I, Toga said. They start to close in on me. Demons I can handle killing, but a hero isn't supposed to kill. For this I put this coat aside and start swinging. Moonfish started attacking with his blade teeth. He got a few cuts in me as Muscular started charging after me with his quirk. Before I had time to react, I got slammed to the ground. Trying to get back up, I see Dabi shoot blue flames at me, burning me. Still kicking, I use my full power to push Muscular off of me finally. I see an opening and go for it and stab him in the chest, then pushing him into the lake of melted gold. What? Heroes aren't supposed to kill, Shigaraki said, jumping up and down. We're in hell. I don't think it matters right now, I say as I charge at Moonfish, tanking his blades though they still cut through me. I finally get to him and decapitate him. Shigaraki looking pissed off, seeing that I killed the 2 that gave me the most trouble. I run up to Shigaraki with my sword, only to be met by Kurogyri opening a portal. Knowing he was gonna open up a portal to one of those lakes, I quickly jumped back, only to be shot with blue flame yet again by Dabi. I let out a scream in pain. I see Mr. Compress about to use his quirk on me, but I then use my quirk to dash at him and shove my sword through his gut. Izuku-kun, you sure bleed a lot. You're perfect for me. Once you're mine, I'll make you bleed every day. Isn't that great? Toga said. Sorry, I said as I cut one of Toga's arms, then her head. But I'd rather keep my blood. twice, then making clones of himself surrounding me. I jump up in the air, then flick my finger, scattering them all. All but one seemed to have fell into the lakes, but one still stood. I soon realized that was a mistake because the ground we were standing was sinking into the gold. I started to believe this was really the end. The only good thing is that the LOV was gonna die with me. Izuku! Look up! Adonis said. I see that the Wheel of Fortune was collapsing. I then jumped up in time for it to collapse on top of the rest of the LOV other than All for One. I then stand on the wheel, which is now my platform. Clap. Clap. Well done, son! Well done! All for One said. I look at him, dead on, bruised as all get out. Dianir told me you were impressive. Of course I knew that all along. After you trained with All Might, he gave you one for all. All for One said. You won't succeed, I said angrily. Oh, won't I? I'll give you a choice. You give up and you go back to the surface, without Eri. Or you die by my hand stuck here with Eri forever, All for One said. How about I kill you and take Eri back with me? I shouted. That wasn't your option, but you are welcome to try, All for One said as he charges at me full force. I dodge his attack and slug him in the back of the head. He shoots a black and red blade at me with his fingers, but use my quirk to deflect them with my sword. Arrogant child, he said as he gets in his muscular for, then charges at me. He then leaves himself wide open, then stab him from behind with my sword. Thinking it's all over, he heals himself. You're persistent, my son, but this is where it ends, he said as he tries to grab me. I then notice his mask. His mask is what's keeping him alive. I sheath my sword, then grab him in the face when he got wide open. Delaware. Wait. What are you doing? Detroit. Wait, son. Please don't. Smash! I shouted, punching him in the face, breaking his mask completely. After that, All for One was on the floor looking defeated. You gotten strong. Yeah, thanks to All Might and everyone else who looked up to me. I see I deserve this after what I did to your mother. To All Might, to you I deserve whatever fate lies for me in hell. You were born quirkless because of me. I stole your quirk because I wanted to make yours and your mother's quirk into an advanced version. While I succeeded, I got greedy, and well, you see the mess I am now, All for One said. I hated the bastard, and while he's not wrong, he does deserve to be in hell. But he's still my father, and I must forgive him. Are you sure, Izuku? Adonis said. Yes, Adonis, I'm sure, I said. W what? Izuku, my father said. You're not wrong. The stuff you put innocent people through is unforgivable. But you're still my father, I said as Adonis absolves him to the Fey realm. I always knew after leaving you with your mother that you'd have a kind heart. I give you your quirk back, my son. I will see you later, son, my father said as he now looks like a spitting image of me, but with red hair and well older. As my father got absolved, I feel a crack in my toes as that made me scream in pain. As a result, I breath out a pillar of fire. I realize what I just did as I find out I have both my dad's quirk and my mom's quirk. With the quirk one for all, they are both advanced. I don't see any other way down, so with my mom's quirk, I pick up the Wheel of Fortune and start floating down towards the next circle. I'm coming for you, Eri. Hang tight. All Might's POV. I walk over to Midoriya and rub his forehead. He looks like he's just asleep. It's in the middle of the night, and everyone is asleep. I start hearing a cracking sound from his feet. After that, I hear Midoriya take a deep breath, and as he let out his breath, a green flame came out of his mouth. Young Midoriya! What did you do? I asked. I then came to realize after hearing the crack within his feet, he doesn't have double-jointed toes anymore. Young Midoriya, is this your quirk manifesting? I look at him in amazement. Ever since you were a little kid, you were my biggest fan. Now I'm your biggest fan now, young Midoriya. I never thought anyone would ever go through hell to save someone they care about. You're no longer a hero, young Midoriya, you're a goddamn legend, I say as I'm hugging both Midoriya and Eri. All Might? Ochaco said behind me. Young Uraraka. What are you doing up? I ask. Probably the same reason as you, she said. Why don't you come sit down, young Uraraka? I said, patting the floor next to me. I'm okay, Ochaco said, sitting next to me. You really care about him, don't you, young Uraraka? I said. Of course I do. He saved my life and kept saving my life since day one, Ochaco said. I know, I saw, I said. Young Uraraka, there's something that I need to tell you about young Midoriya, but don't tell anyone else, I said, whispering and yelling at the same time. Okay, what do you need to tell me? Ochaco asked. Midoriya was born quirkless, I said. What do you mean? He has a quirk, Ochaco said, giving me a look. Yes, from me, I said. His quirk is passed down like a torch. The body is weak to it at first, but as you've seen with young Midoriya, the body gets stronger as the quirk grows, I said. Is that why his attacks look so similar to yours? She asked. Yes, young Uraraka. It is, but of course he wasn't my first choice. He proved to me that he is a hero. Because he's possessed by the feeling to help anyone even if the odds are completely against his favor. Like what I saw with young Bakugo and that sludge monster, you with that 0-point robot, and much more. He'll jump in the middle of danger knowing one day he'll die because of it just to save the innocent and his friends. That's why I believe he'll come back from the depths of hell. I know he'll come back, I said, whispering. After my whispering speech about Midoriya, I hear Uraraka trying to hold back her tears. This must be hard for you because you're only imagining what he's seeing in hell. I've seen that kid go through so much hell with all his bones broken and still prevail. He's a strong young man, young Uraraka. Try to find comfort in that, I said, trying to reassure Uraraka. I will, thank you, all might thank you, Uraraka said as she walks to her room. Young Midoriya, we're all counting on you to come back with Eri, I said after Uraraka was gone. I wonder if she'll even remember what I said tonight about young Midoriya's quirk? Chapter 9, Wrath. Deku's POV. As I float to the next circle, I see a swamp. It looks like any murky-looking swamp. It was even quiet besides the croaking. I look around, and when I look at the swamp water I see a and then two, then hundreds, then thousands. What the hell? I shout. Izuku. This is the circle of wrath, where the ones that refuse to love and only be consumed in their hate and anger, Adonis said. Sounds like Kaken would rule this circle then, I say in a panic, looking at all the hands reaching from the out of the swamp. A hero! How delicious! Heroes are always the most wrathful, a voice said as I see the angriest demon besides Kaken running towards me with his axe. I quickly got up and take a loose boulder with my unborn quirk and throw it at the demon charging after me. That's it, I shouted. Listen here, Dianir. If you can hear me, which I know you can, I'm not leaving here without Eri. Do you understand? Taking her was your last mistake. I yelled enraged, not knowing what has gotten over me. Izuku. Calm down, Adonis said. I don't know what came over me. It's like I wasn't myself. That's just this circle being mixed with your parental instincts. This place has been known to give the calmest of people anger issues. As we walked through the swamp, I glanced at the dead trees in the swamp. They had people in them. It was like one of those scary cartoons with haunted forests, but it looked so real. Adonis, what are these trees made of? I asked. The souls of the most wrathful and unloved, not just by people around, but to themselves too, Adonis said. Why, you mean suicide? I asked, shaking like a leaf. No, but with their wrath, they not only hurt those mentally around them, but hurt themselves mentally as well, Adonis said. If this is what happens to the people that hurt themselves and others mentally, I'd hate to see what happens to the ones that hurt physically, I thought to myself. As we get to the end of the dead forest, we get stopped by a dead end. The swamp lake seemed endless from here. I guess we'll have to swim for it, I said, trembling. Are you trying to get killed? If you jump and the souls will drag you down, then you won't be able to keep your promise to that balloon-faced girl, Adonis said. You mean Uraraka-san? I asked. No, I mean Kirby. Yes, I meant Uraraka, you dumbass, Adonis yelled in sarcasm and rage. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have yelled. This circle really gets to you, and being a dragon, well, it's not easy, Adonis said, sincere. No, I understand. Now how about we make a boat? I said. Sure. Just don't use these trees. A boat made out of this wood would sink immediately as soon as it hit the water, Adonis said. I start to think what I could use for a boat. I see a large boulder and think of turning that into a boat. I could turn that into a boat, I said, pointing at the boulder. That could actually work, Adonis said. But how are you gonna turn it into a boat? I'll chisel it with my quirk. That's not a bad idea. Just don't overuse it and shatter the boulder. As I chisel the boulder with 1% of my quirk into a boat shape, I then hollow it out so I can get in it. I then look at it, and may have put a little too much texture on it. Not to toot my own horn, but it was a nice-looking boat. That's a nice-looking boat you got there, Izuku. Now let's see if it floats, Adonis said. I slowly push the boat into the swamp lake and hope it floats. Thankfully it did. The souls of the damned seemed to only get pushed back into the lake with the stone boat. All right, Izuku, jump in. We don't want it to float away now, do we? Adonis said as I jump in. As I use my psychic quirk from my mom, Adonis guides me to the right path as he flies in front of me as I follow. Izuku! Look out! Adonis yelled. I suddenly start getting attacked by demons that are flying around me like vultures. Me being in no mood to stop as it took me a while to build this damn thing, I then used my fire breath quirk to fight off the demons. To my surprise, it worked out well. Izuku! Get ready to wall jump! Adonis says as I see a giant demon in front of us as well as a waterfall. When we got to the waterfall, I jump out as quickly as I can, then jump up to a hanging wall running on it with full cowling. I then get greeted by the demon's hand. I dodge it but start falling. I see a boulder that I quickly grab with my psychic quirk and start flying towards the demon. This doesn't seem much different from that 0-point robot. But this time, I'll win unharmed, I yell as I jump up towards its face. He looks at me smiling at first until his face met my fist. His face completely caved in just like what happened with that 0-point robot. As he fell back presumably dead, I start to look down and don't even see a bottom. I felt like this was truly gonna be the end. Uraraka, I'm sorry, I say as I fall to the bottomless pit. Izuku! Up there! Adonis said, pointing at the cave. I watch it go by in slow motion as I'm trying to look around. I then thought to myself, can I attract myself to walls as well? I tried out my theory of my newborn quirk. And surely, I stuck to the wall and quit falling. I then run up the wall and into the cave. That cave will be your ticket to the next circle. If you kept falling, you would have surely died, Adonis said. What's the next circle, Adonis? I ask. You'll see, my friend. You'll see. Katsuki's POV. Shitty Hair and Dunce Face both wanted to see Deku. They pestered me till I broke and said bucket. Hey Baku bro! Where do you think Midobro is right now? Shitty Hair asked. Honestly, I'm surprised he even did this, Shitty Hair. He's been to hell and back again, and I know, I said, scoffing. I gotta say, this is the manliest thing I've ever seen anyone do. He's going through hell to save his daughter. So manly. Hick, Shitty Hair said, trying to hold back his tears. Hey Dunce Face! You gonna say anything? I say as he's on the floor. And he's stupid, I say, looking at him with anger. I look back at Deku as he's holding on to Eri. You better make it back, Deku. I still need to prove I'm better than you, I say silently as Shitty Hair is trying to hold back his tears. He's so bucking manly, goddammit. I smirk and reassure myself. He'll be back. And when he does, we're sparring. Chapter 10, Heresy. Deku's POV. As we go through the tunnel, I see fire. Surprisingly, this is the only circle I see fire in. The other circles didn't burn as much as everyone said it would, but was definitely trippy and disturbing. Did we finally arrive in hell? I asked jokingly. Very funny, Izuku. Very funny, Adonis said, not very amused. This is the circle of heresy. The ones who followed themselves without guidance, the ones who sold their souls, and the ones who judged the living claiming to be superior to man, Adonis said. Yep. Definitely looks like hell, I said, looking around, sweating. Feels like hell too. Out of all the circles of hell, this one was the loudest by far. Every time fire went off, all I heard was screaming, like I was in a stadium of the tortured. I'll go back to gluttony now, I say, trying to cover my ears, trying to ignoring how hot it was. Izuku, don't let this break you. If it gives you comfort after this circle, it'll be quieter, Adonis said. I sure hope so, I say, yelling, trying to mock the voice. As I run around the city looking for a way out of here, I run into a demon that looks like it was controlling a golem. I take my sword and try to slice at the golem's legs. It looked like it was feeling anything. I then go for plan B and attack the demon on top. I push the demon off, only to be greeted with a fireball to the face. I held my face in pain. I was used to Kachin's explosions, but this was painful. I look up and get hit with a mace by that same demon who threw the fireball. Blood started streaming down my face, which got me more determined somehow. You bastard! I said, smiling as I charge at him with my sword. I managed to impale my sword through his mouth out the other side. Somehow after that I felt healed. Well, how did my wound heal so quickly? I asked myself. Well, seeing that guardian dragons protect and heal the souls of their human, I thought I would heal your wounds. And seeing that you're here as your soul self, well, you get my point, Adonis said. Oh, thank you, I said. Thank me later if you get out of here alive, Adonis said. And you might think of taking that golem. I agreed with what he said as I see that the golem is powerless without a pilot. I jump up on the golem and start walking towards the thick giant metal door. Damn, this golem is so slow, I said. But he will be useful, Adonis said. Finally I got to the door. I have the golem punch the door, and I see that I dented it, so I punch again, then again, then again until it opened. I see a long bridge to what looks like a lair. I make my way to it with the golem as demons attempt to stop me but fail as the golem seems to overpower them. I finally get the lair, and when I enter I see is a tall black mist and a short little light. They fly towards me as I see the mist is clearly a woman, and the small light was Eri. Eri! I shouted from the top of my lungs. Papa! Please help me! She's been hurting me! Eri screams, begging for help. Arg! You hitch! Give me back Eri or I'll kill you! I scream, enraged as mad as Kakin. You are welcome to try. Don't worry though, you'll see me on the 8th circle. Toodles! The misty woman said as she flies down. No! You get back here, goddammit! I shout. After she left with Eri, the ground began to crumble down on me. I hold on to the golem until I see an opening. I then see the ground and use full cowling to throw the golem down as hard as I can to break my fall. As the golem hit the ground, it broke that floor and I start falling into what looks like an ocean of blood with souls trying desperately to get out. I then see a platform, so I attract myself to that platform and land safely. I look around to see if I caught up with that woman who had Eri, but I couldn't see them. I grab my head and rage yet again, screaming while on my knees. Damn it, damn it, damn it! I scream, mad at myself for not catching her before she escaped. Izuku! Calm down! It's not over yet, Adonis said with his scaly hand on my shoulder. I won't give up. I will save her. She won't suffer any more than she already is. Please hang tight, Eri. Stay strong. For Papa. Ochaco's POV. In class, everyone knew how long it's been since Deku went to know. I can't think about it right now. The horror he's probably in. Ugh. I try to hold back my tears and cover my face with my textbook as I have tears building up in my eyes from the anxiety I'm having. I breath in and out, but to no avail, the tears just kept coming. Uraraka! Mr. Aizawa said, annoyed that I wasn't keeping my focus. I put my textbook down and tried to wipe away my tears. He saw the red in my eyes and his face went from annoyed to concerned. Uraraka, will you step outside for a minute? Mr. Aizawa asked. Why, yeah. I say as I step out of the class as Mr. Aizawa followed. Sit down, Uraraka, Mr. Aizawa said as he sits on the floor as I sit next to him. You're thinking about Midoriya, aren't you? He asks. Yes, I say as I start silently sobbing as he has his arm around my shoulder. I can only imagine those horrors that he's seeing as I just watch him sleep silently, and I can't do anything about it. I say, covering my face with my arms and legs. I believe we all think about that, just try not to. I may not show it, but I care about my students. I want you all to have a bright future as heroes. Not to play favorites, but when Midoriya comes back, I see the brightest future with him. Mr. Aizawa says, comforting me. I know you're not playing favorites. I know he'll be even greater than any hero out there. But I just can't stop thinking about him. I say, still having water down my cheeks. Listen, Ochaco. I know it's hard. But please be strong for him, Mr. Aizawa said, holding my shoulders. Okay, I'll try, I say, wiping my tears off my face. Deku, you better come back alive or I'm gonna kick your ass. The bell rang for lunch and I was the last one out of the room. Hey Uraraka, I'd like you to have lunch with me. Is that okay? Mr. Aizawa asked. Why, yeah, okay, I said. Alright, go ahead and get a tray and come back, he said. After getting my tray, I went back into class 1A with Mr. Aizawa. I sat down at my desk and he sat at the desk next to me. Have you been getting any sleep, Uraraka? He asks. I wanted to be honest with him, and there was no point in lying to him, seeing that it was clear that I wasn't. And no, not really. Every time I try to, I always dream that he doesn't make it, I said, looking at my bowl. Oh well, finish eating and we'll talk about this afterwards. Aizawa's POV. We got done eating and I noticed that Uraraka doesn't look too different. She just looks paler, and her eyes are deeper than mine. But she doesn't look any thinner, so that's a plus. I always knew that kid was reckless, but I guess that's why I call him a problem child, I say with a chuckle, trying to make her laugh. What do you mean by that? Deku's not a problem, she snaps at me. Are you kidding? That kid is always saving someone. Whether it's someone he's close to or some complete stranger. He'd probably jump to hell even if Eri was a complete stranger, I say, letting a couple chuckles out with a few tears. I really did it now. I made my student cry. Shit. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned hell. I know that he's inspired me to be better than who I am so many times. Not to mention he's saved my life so many times as well, Uraraka says with tears rolling down her face as she eats her mochi. I honestly think he lights that same fire under all your butts. And not to mention, he felt so lucky that he got into UA, but come to think about, I think UA is lucky to have him, I said. By the way, take smaller bites, I'm Kirby. Hey! Do I look like Kirby to you? Yes, you do, I say before laughing hysterically. After I started laughing, she gave me a mean look before she started laughing too. Finally, I made her laugh. It felt like months since I saw her smile. The bell rang and I offered to take her tray back to the lunchroom. As I walked her through the halls, I thought of how brightly Uraraka laughed. Heh! You're a damn good kid, Midoriya. Your friends are all worried about you. Make it back, for Aries and all of our sake. Chapter 11, Violence. As I'm walking around, I notice it. I ask quieter, but I hear the sounds of choking, which I honestly prefer over that ear grape from the last circle. I look at the lake of boiling blood, and in no surprise at this point, I see souls desperately trying to escape the lake but immediately get pulled back in. This place just gets weirder and weirder, I thought to myself. Indeed. This is the circle of violence, where the bloodthirsty, suicidal, and blasphemous go, Adonis said. I had forgot that Adonis could read my mind. I look around to see demons charging at me shouting, "Murderer!" I didn't like that at all. I then get my sword ready and charge up one for all before attacking. I said it before and I'll say it again. I don't like killing, but I have no choice. After I jump through a few obstacles and killing more demons than before, I find myself at a forest. The trees were similar to the one that Dianir planted, so no, I'd rather not think of that. Izuku, this may not be easy for you, but this is the Suicide Woods. The place where people go after taking their own life. Adonis said, patting my shoulder. All I could see was the place where I would have gone if I had succeeded on my attempt. After that I managed to see my friends, or so I thought. You're so useless. Hero wannabe. Couldn't even save a little girl. How pathetic. You shouldn't have gone to UA, it'll be better if you just died. This is your home now. Get used to it. I wish you hadn't survived that jump. I hear voice all my friends, even Ochaco, say all those things one by one. My cuts that I recovered from started to burn and glow as the voices only got louder. I finally snap. Shut up! I scream with fire coming out of my mouth, getting rid of the demons being disguised as my friends. As my fire got out of control, I see I started fire in hell. Weird. Stay vigilant, Izuku. Just remember, they aren't real. Your friends very much care about you and worry about you, Adonis said. Thank you, I never want to feel that way again, I said, shaking my head. Finally I got out of the Suicide Woods, which had to have been the worst by far with all the thoughts going through physically. And finally, the blasphemous part of the circle. I don't think I need to explain who goes here, Adonis said. I think I know, I said. As we walk through the violence of blasphemy, I see what looks like blood rain. I then see a bunch of Noma-looking creatures. I got my sword ready as they charge at me. These didn't look like any normal Nomas, these ones looked more dead. I figured these demons couldn't heal because that sounds ridiculous. These demons had the very intention to kill and not a single mind to heal. They started running towards me like runner zombies. Delaware smash! After I flicked my fingers, most the demons fell back as I winced at the pain of my finger. I then get my sword, powering up my full cowl as I charge directly at the demons. I kill off the demons, all but one, is the one grabbed me by the arm with an iron grip. He then throws me towards the lake of blood as the tormented souls grab onto me as the blood burns me. I end up getting head deep into the boiling blood, but before my hand sank and as I held my breath in the painfully boiling hot blood, I go full cowling 100% using my grappling quirk as I slowly bring my head up out of the blood as I'm screaming in pain but refusing to die after getting this far. I then get back on the surface, breaking down from the pain I'm in. Then I'm met with a concerned dragon. Izuku! Are you alright? Adonis said with a worried look. Burk! I don't know, am I dead? I said, wincing from the pain. No, Izuku. You're still alive, thankfully. Now be more careful next time, Adonis said as he leads me to a healing well to heal his wounds. Thank you. I feel much better now, I said. You can thank me by staying alive. Do you know how much pain Ochaco would be mentally if she woke up one day and heard Rondiil say you didn't make it? Adonis yelled. Why are you only mentioning Uraraka-san? Wouldn't they all be devastated? I asked. Well, yeah, but Ochaco, well, she may have a small crush on you, Adonis said, scratching the back of his head. Wait, really? Izuku said, blushing and not from the heat. Okay, you're all she's thinking about right now, she's worried to death, Adonis said. Whoa, my God! Izuku said, blushing. All right. Fight now, blush later. You still need to save Eri, Adonis said. Right, I said as I'm running, feeling better than ever after healing my wounds. I then get stopped by a familiar sight at the end of the circle. I see 2 katanas and a scarf that flew through the winds of hell. I look in shock as he turns around to face me. It sure has been a while, kid? I look to see none other than the hero killer Stain looking back at me. I must thank you for killing those LOV guys off for me. Now they're suffering in hell. Except for all for one, for whatever reason. It doesn't matter anyway. After I kill you, I'll claim my spot as Dianir's right-hand man for myself, then nothing will stop me. I get my sword ready as I get in my stance, powering up one for all. I'm glad you didn't die, by the way. That just means I get to kill you for myself, Stain said, charging at me. I then jump up and shoot a fireball from out of my mouth towards Stain. Stain got hit dead on by the explosive fire breath. Stain only getting pissed, he jumps towards me, but knowing what his quirk does, I avoid his blades the best I can. I then grapple myself to the nearest wall as I breath fire at him from a distance. Stain then jumps up to me only for us to meet our swords. We then clash in the air until I manage to kick him down to the ground. I then feel paralyzed, panicking of what has happened. I glance at my ankle to see a cut. Uraraka, Eri, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna die here, I thought as I'm crying, waiting to die. You're one annoying kid. I finally get to kill you. You were a real pain in the ass to take down, but finally I managed. As Stain approaches me, I have my eyes clenched shut as I'm waiting for the final moment. Goodbye, hero. Stain then stabbed me in the shoulder to hope that I die slowly, then he stabbed me in the other shoulder, then slowly the gut. When he gets done, he turns his back on me to assume that I'm dead. Ochaco's POV. I'm sitting on the floor in front of the couch Deku is sleeping on. I then hear Deku sounding like he's choking on blood. Oh my god! No! No, no, no! I start to panic and Rondiil! Help! Please! I scream in desperation with tears in my eyes. Shit! Get back! He's barely holding on, Rondiil says as he attempts to perform a ritual to keep him alive. I run to my dorm room so Rondiil could concentrate as I cry in panic. DKU! Please don't die! I just can't! Deku's POV. Not yet. Wait. Wah. I'm not done yet. I then hear two voices come from me as I power up one for all at 1,000,000% as my wounds somehow heal. WH, what are you? Who are you? We are Deku, I say as I hear my voice and Adonis' voice at the same time. Adonis possessed me, but I was still in control. I then lash at Stain, breaking his swords with my own. He looked in panic as I grab him by the scarf, hold him up to my face, then say, You belong here, Stain! You failed. As I throw him into the lake of blood where he gets consumed. No, no, no! Stain says, struggling to get out of the boiling blood but fails ever so miserably. Adonis then gets out of me as I collapse on the floor but still holding on. Rondiil must have done his ritual. He noticed that you nearly died, Adonis said. I should thank him when we get back, I say, gasping for air and coughing. Let's go. We're almost to Eri, Adonis said as we jump down to the next circle. Ochaco's POV. As I'm crying in my dorm room, I hear a knock on my door. Come in. Sniff, the door opened and I was waiting to hear the bad news. Go ahead. Tell me he didn't make it, I say, crying, waiting to hear it. He did, but it was a close call. He's got a lot of fight within him, Rondiil said, comforting me. Thank you. Thank you for saving him, I say, somewhat relieved. After a while I had my panic attack. Mina comes in with the other girls, seeing that I forgot to unlock the door after Rondiil left. Hey Uraraka! Wanna hang out with us at the mall? Mina said, bursting with excitement like always. I think I'm fine, thank you though. Ochaco, please come with us. I can't stand to see you like this. You used to be so happy, but as soon as Midoriya said too much. Ribbit, Sui said. I look up at the girls and see all their faces are in concern. I then decided to get up and go with them. They all cheered as we're on our way. As we walk through the mall, I glance over at a video game store. I thought to myself that I could at least do something at home to get my mind off things. Tsuyu followed me in. Ochaco, I didn't know you played video games, she said. Well, I have an Xbox 360, but it's just been collecting dust for a while after I got bored of it, I said. I asked the cashier if they still had Xbox 360 games. He said yes and pointed at the shelves with those games. They had quite a big selection. As I'm scanning the shelves, I find one that catches my eye. Dante's Inferno. Ochaco, you don't know what game's about, right? Ribbit, Tsuyu said. No, I don't, I said. Well, let me give you a hint. Replace Dante with Deku, Tsuyu said. I start to tense up holding the case. Why you mean? I said, shaking. I'm sorry, Ochaco, she said, rubbing my back. No, it's fine, I said. I decided to buy the game out of curiosity, and after a while of exploring we decide to go home. We all decide to have a sleepover at my dorm room as I'm holding the game case. I decide to get my old 360 out of my closet and hook it up. We're here for you, Uraraka, Mina said. Yeah, we'll get through this, Yomomo said. I decide to put the game, and the starting screen already looked disturbing. I then press play and the game starts with the Crusader killing people off who are most likely heretics. It then ends up with the Crusader getting stabbed by one of the heretics. Dante is then greeted by death, of which he has to fight. You don't think Izuku had to fight death, do you? Jiro asked. Well, seeing that he's not dead, I doubt it, I said, reassuring myself. After defeating death, Dante takes his scythe for himself. After a while of Beatrice and all that, I finally get to hell, which looked absolutely buck to say the least. Oh my god! Ribbit, Tsuyu said. Is this what Midoriya and Eri are seeing? Toru asked. Is that what hell looks like? Mina asked, looking at the screen in shock. I start shaking again as everyone looks in at the screen in shock. I could barely keep my breath up. I then drop the controller and pass out. Uraraka! I wake up to see myself on top of a roof. It wasn't the roof of UA, it was some other school that she hasn't even gone to. I then see a familiar face walking past me, phasing through me. Deku? I then see him sitting on the ledge, dangling his feet. Everyone is right, I am useless. Useless little Deku, the boy who can't accomplish anything. Deku! I wonder who will remember when I'm gone. Right. No one. Who am kidding? That's not true, Deku. He then gets up, then looks through the door. Hello? Anyone coming? Bah! Who am I kidding? I try to stop him, but my hand phases through him as he jumps off the building. DK, you know! I then shout, awake with the girls still around me while the game is on pause. I think that's enough for tonight, Toru says as she turns off the system. Agreed, Mina says, holding on to me. I then cry on Mina's chest as my heart just clenched. I hate that I have these thoughts in my head. Everyone else believes Deku will make it out alive, why can't I just find comfort in that? Everyone else is obviously worried, but they try not to show it. Everyone thinks about Deku and how great of a hero he is. I want to be a hero just like him. I would do the same if it was him being dragged to hell, and everyone, even he, knows that. After everyone falls asleep on the floor of my dorm room, I silently walk over to Deku, who is laying on the couch. I then decide to lay on top of Deku, holding Eri on top of me as I press my cheek against his as I lay on top of him. I then put a blanket on top of us as I fall asleep. For some reason, it was easier to fall asleep with him. Rondiil's POV. I walk to the living quarters to see a certain brunette laying on top of Izuku and Eri on top of her. That looks like someone will fall off the couch. I decided to take Eri, Ochaco, and Izuku into Izuku's dorm room to lay them down, trying not to wake up Ochaco. I then do the daily ritual. As I do the ritual, I hear Ochaco giggling in her sleep as if I tickled her. After I got done, I quietly walk out. He'll be awake soon. Chapter 12, Fraud. Deku's POV. I finally get to the 8th level. Finally! Holy crap, it's dark. I shoot a small flame out of my mouth and hold it in my hand bright enough I can see. It was like walking down a dark alleyway where it felt like I could get jumped any minute now. Izuku, I have a few messages for you from your friends, Adonis said. Alright, can I read them? I asks. Not read, but listen, Adonis said. You're too manly for this world, Midobro. We all know you can do it, Izuku. Make sure to tell Dianir thank you for keeping your seat warm, problem child. You better still be alive or I'm kicking your ass when I get down there, Deku. You're no longer a hero, young Midoriya, you're a goddamn legend. Deku, after hearing that message I got tears in my eyes. I then feel like I could see her face in the living quarters. She was crying, she looked miserable and broken. Her eyes were deep, her skin was pale. I'm just glad she didn't look any thinner. Ochaco. Deku, please come back alive! I can't do this without you. I will, Uraraka-san. For your sake and Eri's sake. I start to see a trial of some sort. Papa! I hear Eri scream. Eri! Papa's coming, Eri! Papa's coming! I said as I met with yet another familiar face. You! Yes, I'm glad Dianir brought back what's mine. I always expected to go to hell, but not like this. I'm still alive on the surface, he said. Not after I'm done with you, Overhaul! I shouted. Oh, come now, aren't heroes supposed to be against killing? We're in hell. That doesn't matter now. After I said that, I see Eri hanging from a meat hook. Different. Papa! It hurts. Please help me. Eri said as I see tears running down her face. I then lose control, take my sword out, and charge at him full, calling 1,000,000%. My blue hair flares up as I cut him in half and he tries to regenerate, but I don't let him. I find his head and cut it off, then I swing my sword in sound-breaking speeds, cutting the wind around me. I then jump up and grab Eri from the meat hook that she's been hanging from. Eri looked like she's been mangled to bits. I'm surprised she was still alive, but ultimately glad. Adonis. I'm on it. Adonis healed Eri and she looked good as new. Dad! Yes, Eri! It's me! You're safe now, I say as I hug Eri tightly as she cries onto my shoulder as I'm crying as well. I finally got Eri. I went through hell and got the little girl who calls me Papa. Go with Adonis, Eri. He'll get you out of here, I said. What about you, Papa? Eri said. Don't worry about me, Eri. I got other things to do. But Papa! Please take good care of Mama for me. Dad! No! As Eri went back to her unconscious body, I still roamed the 8th circle of hell only to be relieved that my daughter is safe. I roam with determination. I will come back. For you, Eri and Ochaco. Ochaco's POV. I start to wake up as I see Eri tossing and turning, looking like she's about to wake up. Eri! Eri, wake up! Mom? I then wrap Eri in a hug, but then look at Deku and see he's not waking up, and I fear the worst. Eri, why isn't your Papa waking up? Papa said he had something else to do. He also said to take good care of you. Does this mean? I then put my ear on his chest to hear that his heartbeat was still going. He still has a heartbeat. He's still alive. DKU. You wake up right now, damn it. Mama. I see Eri was looking at me with tears in her eyes, which I then wrapped Eri in a hug once again. I'm sorry, Eri. I'm just worried about your Papa. It's okay, Mama. He was honestly the scariest thing I've seen there. Which makes me believe he's gonna beat that man who took me. After hearing that, those were the most comforting words I've heard. If the girl who was taken to hell believes in him, why can't I? Why shouldn't I? Alright, Eri, let's go see the others. They've been worried sick about you. Okay, Mom. As we walk out of Deku's dorm room, everyone looked like they were all awake. Everyone! Ares is awake! After I said that, everyone looked at us shocked and amazed. I knew Midoriya would do it! Mina shouted as she hugged Eri tightly. He's just way too manly for this world. I don't even think he's human anymore, Karashima said, trying to hold back tears. Everyone! I suggest we all continue to believe in Midoriya. He has already brought back Eri and he's still breathing. I don't know much about hell, but I assume he is very close to his objective, Ida said, karate chopping the air faster than usual. Yeah, we all said. It's Midoriya, for crying out loud. He would go through anything to protect everyone around him, Denki said. You're goddamn right, Karashima said, grabbing his chest with tears rolling down his face. That guy! I swear, Tokuyami said, smiling. Deku's POV. As I wander around the 8th circle of hell, I seem to find myself in a loop. This place is depressing. Although I'm carrying a light in my hands to keep the demons away, it's still too dark to see. Suddenly I see a mist, but that's all I see. I see the occasional souls of the damned. Language! Oop! Sorry, Ida, wait, why are you here? I'm not. I'm a figure of your imagination. Anyway, I think I'm going crazy. Where's Adonis when you need him? He should be back after taking Eri back up. I'm back, Izuku, said Adonis. Finally! I think I'm lost, I said. Don't worry, because I am here, Adonis said, trying to imitate All Might. Really? I said, chuckling. Oh, come on. You look depressed, so I thought I'd imitate your idol to have you get rid of the long face. We both laugh for a while until we move along. Anyway, I'll lead you, Adonis said. I never heard a dragon laugh, I thought. Oh, come on. We can be humorous too, he said. One of these days I'm gonna get killed if I think of anything negative towards dragons, I thought. Nah, we don't get offended that easily, Adonis said. Well, alright, you lizard with wings, I said, trying to test that theory. Dude, that hurt, man. I thought we were friends, Adonis said, actually sounding serious. Wait. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that, I said sincerely. Heh. I'm just playing, Adonis said, giggling. Asshole, I thought. Cry baby, Adonis said, firing back. Hey, I'm not a cry baby, I said, pouting a little. That's not what I heard, he said, getting ready to laugh his ass off. Let's just go and find a way out, I said. Whatever you say, broccoli head, Adonis said, finally laughing. After wandering through the 8th circle, we find a dim light. We go to that light and we see a woman. She had a gown like you would see a Greek goddess wear, but black and had flames. Izuku, we should be careful. That's Dianir's lover. She's a feisty one, but stay vigilant, Adonis said. Right, I said, whispering, trying to sneak attack her. As I sneak behind her, I bring my sword up, and before I could sneak attack her, she disappears. Did you really think you'd be getting the drop on me? She says. Crap, I said, whispering to myself. Izuku Midoriya, is it? Known to be quirkless and useless. But all of a sudden, your favorite superhero comes by and gives you a quirk. You're so pitiful. You basically begged for power, she said. No. He gave me a quirk because he believed in me, I shout. Oh, please. Everyone knows you're useless. They all think you'd be better off dead, she says, trying to hurt me. Don't listen to her, Izuku. Nobody thinks that. She's obviously lying. Shut up, dragon. You know damn well he's worthless, she said to Adonis. After seeing him go through hell, I can already tell you're full of shit, Cersei, Adonis shouts. Deku, a name you've grown to because you know yourself that you're useless just as much as everyone else knows too, Cersei says. No, Deku is no longer the name of a scared middle schooler anymore. I'm DKU. And from now on, DKU is the name of a hero. DKU means that I can do it, I shout as I charge at her with One for All. Play song. After I attack, I find myself in a sea of ice. After that, I see an army of gnomes. I knew I'd die now. You're really stupid if you think a little ice is gonna stop me, I said as I break the ice under my feet. Looks like winter lost its grip, I shout, smiling. All the breaths I take, somehow my determination grew each time. I go full cowling at 1,000,000% and charge at them with my sword in both hands, breaking the ice under me. As I charge at the demonic gnomes, I've never felt so alive. I knew I would fall, but at this point I didn't care. I didn't even feel Adonis in me. I just started attacking without second thought. Is it because I'm just this determined to keep Dianir in his prison in hell? Is it because my friends are in danger? Is it the world in danger? No, I'll be the one to save everyone. Sinful or not. I can't let Dianir take anyone else. My legs started moving on its own like I know my friends and family are in danger. Not only Eri, but Kaken, Ida, Tsuyu, all of them. Even Uraraka know. I won't let you win! I screamed from the depths of my heart. My arms started swinging. I feel like I'm in the core of the battle. But I'm not giving up. I swing my sword in a circle, and as I slice the demonic gnomes, they all explode to bits. The weight of the battle is heavy, but I will conquer this alive or dead. I will do this one man against all. Izuku, if you go on like this, most likely it'll be your last day on Earth, Adonis said. I don't care. I won't give up. I will prevail. Finally, the demons seem to run in fear, but I'm still prepared to fight. I then have an image of all my friends dying in front of me. One gnome grabs me from behind. They seem to have me in their grasps. I still see the images of the dead bodies of my friends. Circe comes by and says, Now join us, or suffer like your friends. I then break out of the gnome's grasp and shove my sword through Circe's chest, killing the rest of the gnomes. Izuku, I haven't even possessed you. What happened? Adonis asked. I don't know. But I'm still not giving up. Dianir is still free, that means all my friends and family are still in danger. So I'm not ready to give up yet. I shouted. All Might, you crazy son of a hitch! You really mined for gold. I heard Adonis said that made me smile and even more determined. Disclaimer, this is the Circe from Greek mythology, not DC. I own neither. Nor do I own the song that I used. Chapter 13, Treachery. Deku's POV. I finally arrived at the final circle. It's not hot, but cold. Did Kaken actually start being nice? I asked, chuckling. That would explain this circle simply, but not exactly. This circle is where the devil is imprisoned, Adonis said. I never imagined the very bottom of hell to be cold, I said. Nobody does. Let's go, Adonis said. Right, I said. I run through the icy circle to see souls imprisoned in ice for what I'm assuming is for living in treachery. I see an army of ice giants. They look scary, but my determination was still going up. Texas smash! I shout, punching one giant in the face, causing quite the area of effect. Remember, Izuku, my friend, determination is incorruptible. But pride is a dangerous thing, Adonis said. I know, Adonis. I don't have a sliver of pride in me. As a matter of fact, I don't care what happens to me. Just as long as all my friends and family are safe from that asshole, I'll gladly die for them, I said. Adonis looks at me with a shocked expression as we now find all the demons all at once. Come at me! I shout with a smile. I then grab my sword, shouting, One for all infinity! My hair goes a deep blue color as I charge at the monsters, feeling invincible. Once I swung my sword, it seemed like I cut them all down with one swing. Though I walk through the depths of hell, I fear nothing. All my fear, sadness, anger, and hate. All that's left inside me is determination. I now know what it is now. Because everyone believes in me. I may not hear them, but for some reason, I feel like they're all cheering me on from outside my sleeping body. I continue to search for Dianir until I reach a dead end. Izuku, Dianir is beneath us, Adonis said. I nod and jump as high as I can, then punch the ice beneath me. As I land my punch beneath me, the ice breaks and now I'm in a free fall as I see the devil's ice prison, and seeing Dianir sitting on his throne, I grab my sword and get ready to attack. As I try to attack him, he shoots his limbo blast at me. Did you really think I would let you win that easily? Dianir says. Why did you take Eri? Why would you take Eri? I shout. Eri? She was the bait. After I took Eri, I knew that you would have that face send you after me, Dianir said. What? I say, confused. All I want and need is the soul of the ninth holder of One for All. With you, I can finally become the true king of hell. Everyone will pay for their sins and suffer with no hope, Dianir said, shouting. I won't let that happen, I shout, charging at him. Come on, boy. Do you really think someone as useless as you can defeat someone like me, Deku? He says, swiping me away. He starts to transform, his skin turns into scales, both his eyes turn slit this time, his teeth grow sharp, his wings grew, and then he started to grow. As I look at him prepared to fight, I see what he transforms into. A dragon. Author's POV at the dorms. A storm comes by and a funnel cloud is seen forming over the ocean. A flash of orange lightning starts to crack the sky. Everyone at the dorms are told to stay inside for this storm looks dangerous. Back in hell. Izuku! He's gonna take flight! Follow him! Adonis said. Right. Izuku said as he jumps, but with help. Adonis fused himself to give Izuku his power so he has enough power to defeat Dianir. As he flies following Dianir, they both fly out of hell and out of the ocean. At the dorms. Everyone looks outside to see a dark cloud over the ocean. The sky is orange and green. Everyone sees what looks like a silhouette of a large dragon behind the clouds. As he tries to breathe fire at the people of Japan, the fire was stopped by what looks like a flash of green lightning. I will take everyone's souls just to get yours if I have to, Dianir says in his dragon voice. I'll protect everyone. No one will have their life cut short by you, Izuku shouts back. The winds were starting to pick up and all they could see was a dragon trying to attack but couldn't get past the green lightning as if it was a barrier. I know what this is, Rondiil said. What the hell is going on? Kirashima asks. Hey! Little ears! Ochaco said, covering Eri's ears. Whoops! Sorry! But seriously, what's happening? Kirashima asks again. Izuku Midoriya, he's trying to protect us from Dianir, who is now in his dragon form, Rondiil said. Deku! Ochaco mutters before she runs outside of the dorm buildings. Round face! Are you insane? Katsuki shouted. As Ochaco ran towards the ocean, she quickly realized she couldn't get any closer. The tides were picking up and the winds were violent. She then saw clearly what looks like a green glowing silhouette of what looks like Izuku. Blanket! Ochaco screamed. When Dianir saw Ochaco, he immediately went to attack at full force. Izuku being quick, he blocked his attack that was going against Ochaco. She then saw Izuku look back at her with his glowing green eyes before punching Dianir back in full-on anger. DKU! Please win! Ochaco shouts. Izuku heard the screams from Ochaco and made him determined beyond belief. He threw a flurry of punches at the Dianir, who is still a giant dragon. Izuku remembered how he hurt his friends, especially Ochaco, and not to mention tried to make him kill himself in front of everyone, and lastly took Eri with him to hell. He was pissed. He was really pissed. He went feral and grabbed Dianir by the neck and plummeted down back in the ocean, which made an explosion and a giant splash. Izuku made it light enough so he wouldn't hurt Ochaco, seeing that she was close by. After plummeting back down to hell, he saw Dianir coming back to his humanoid form. After Izuku was back in the 9th circle, he saw Dianir get back up, looking burned up, actually looking like the devil he is. I will not lose to someone like you, Dianir said, looking broken. After that, he tried to power back up to take one for all from the 9th holder. My predecessor chose wisely, a female voice said. Going to hell to save someone he loves. That's noble, another voice said. Hey guys! Why don't you 8 help us? Adonis said. That's a great idea. Give him all you got, 9th. Izuku heard all the words from behind and smiled brightly with determination. He powered to his fullest and made his ultimate attack that would end all ultimate attacks. 9-planet solar system smash! Izuku shouted. Dianir saw this and looked in pure terror as the fist came closer and closer with flying colors. It was at this moment when Dianir knew he bucked up. After the punch hit Dianir, he felt blindingly numb. He flew back into the prison in pieces. After that he closed the gap of the prison as Adonis used his ice breath to seal it shut. After that Izuku knew he triumphed. It was a long, hard battle. But after that of glowing all sorts of different colors, his body went dark and passed out from using too much power for too long. Adonis feared the worst. His spirit went dark but not completely. He was still alive, but this meant he was on the brink of death once again. He knew what he had to do. At the dorms, Rondiil was watching over Izuku. As he was, everyone else gathered at the windows and saw clear skies with sparkling lights coming down. Seeing this, everyone knew Izuku had triumphed. Everyone knew he could do it. Even Bakugo. But what they don't know. Rondiil had seen that Izuku was barely holding on, and he may not make it this time. Izuku, I'm sorry, you were a brave man. Rondiil let a few tears, silently sobbing. He was glad that he had his door locked. He didn't know how to break the news. The only way now was to meet him. Adonis brings Izuku to the Fey realm to see if he could save him. Adonis! What have you brought to me? The giant dragon said. My lord, this brave young man. He fought the man Dianir and sealed him into his prison. He used too much of his power and is on the brink of death. I thought I specifically asked Rondiil to handle him. No matter. Bring the boy to me, the dragon god said. Yes, sir, Adonis said. As Adonis hands him Izuku, he heals his spirit, and after that Izuku wakes up seeing a giant dragon, and around him were people who look like Rondiil. Well, where am I? Izuku asks. You are at the Fey realm, child. You are a man who suffered in the past. Had a nickname that was short for 2 words in Japanese. That name, Deku. People called you Deku to call you worthless, but then a girl with a bubbly and confident attitude came to you and turned that name into a name meaning you can do it. And you did. You did something no man alive would dream of doing, even if someone they love was in danger in hell. Izuku looked in shock, hearing the kind words coming from the biggest, most terrifying but yet most majestic dragon he's ever seen. You shall be named Shiltatir amongst the Fey. This name meaning can do of which you are a man of, the godly dragon said. You shall go back to your friends and family. They are waiting for you. When your time has come, you shall spend eternity here. After that the Fae started chanting Shiltatir in Izuku's praise. After the praise the giant dragon snapped his fingers and thus Izuku was coming back. Chapter 14, Awakening. After Izuku had woken up, he was met with Rondiil silently sobbing next to his bed. Izuku. Hello? Rondiil. Izuku? Izuku. Are you okay? Rondiil. Heh. I honestly thought I lost you. Izuku. How many times did I almost die? Rondiil. Just twice, buddy. Just twice. Izuku. Where's Eri? Where's Ochaco? Rondiil. Oh, they're both in Ochaco's room. And holy shit! You won't believe the trouble we had to go through trying to get her mind off of you. Worried would be an understatement. Izuku. I need to see her and Eri. Wait, what time is it? Rondiil. It's 1:15 in the morning. I'm sure her door is still open. I almost guarantee she's still awake. After what Rondiil said, Izuku went to Ochaco's room. After he went inside Ochaco's room, he saw that Eri was trying to comfort Ochaco. Ochaco was hugging her pillows, silently sobbing. You Uraraka-san? Deku? After looking into each other's eyes, Izuku saw that her eyes were deep and reddened. She looked depressed. Seeing her like this brought a worried look on Izuku's face. Papa! Eri yelled, running up to Izuku, jumping on him in a hug. Deku Kyuen! Ochaco yelled, tackling Izuku, hugging him like no tomorrow. Uraraka-san, I'm so sorry I made you worry like this, Izuku said. Ochaco got up from him and slapped Izuku on the face. Not too hard, but it still stung. Ouch! Heh. Izuku said, holding his face. Ochaco went back to hugging him, crying. Out of all the reckless things you did to save someone, this had to been the most reckless I've ever seen you do. Do you know how worried I was? Not just me, but everyone. All Might literally had to reassure us that you would make it out alive. I couldn't bear to see you dead. What if you actually died? If you actually died, I'd dig your grave up just to kick your ass, Ochaco said with a look of anger, sadness, and relief on her face. Oh, for God's sakes, just kiss already, Rondiil said, coming through the halls. Yeah. You two obviously like each other. Why do you think I call her mama? Eri said bluntly. Oh, what the hell? Izuku said, pecking Ochaco on the cheek, turning her face red. Izuku tried to turn his face away, turning red while Ochaco was still on top of him. A blanket? Why you Uraraka-san? Before Izuku could say anything, he felt her hand on his face. After that they looked into each other's eyes, then shared a passionate kiss. Well, guess my work here is done. I came to fight a demon, then became a wingman, Rondiil said. After that, Rondiil went through his portal and left. Izuku, one more thing, next time something like this happens, let me handle it. Going through hell is way easier than keeping her calm and everyone else as well. Geez, Rondiil said before entering his portal home. So how many people did I worry? Izuku asked. Everyone and then some, Ochaco asked. So what now? Izuku asked. I got this game from my old Xbox. It's called Dante's Inferno. Tsu said that it's about a man going through hell, Ochaco said. Should I play it to see how accurate it is? Izuku asked. Let's wait till the morning. I'd hate to trigger something with you going through hell, Ochaco said. Heh, if it meant saving Eri or anyone I care about in that matter, I'd do it again, Izuku said. I'll just hope for best case scenario and hope this doesn't happen again, Ochaco said. Agreed, Izuku said. Time skip in the morning. Izuku decided to sleep with Ochaco and Eri last night, and Ochaco felt comfort, along with Eri as well. They were back to being a normal family. Izuku's dorm room. Bakugo saw that Midoriya's door was open and went to check inside. Where's Dragon Boy? Where's DKU? Katsuki yelled. Whoa! Baku bro! What's going on? Kirashima asked. Deku's not laying on his bed. Get the girls in the living quarters, the angry Pomeranian yelled. I'm on it, Baku bro, Kirashima yelled. After Kirashima knocked on the girls' dorm room doors, trying to wake them up while yelling, Wake up! Midobro is missing! Ochaco's dorm room. After being woken up by Kirashima, all three, Izuku, Ochaco, and Eri, had woken up at the same time while Kirashima was shouting that Izuku was missing. The trio decided to laugh a little and waited for the rest of the girls to go into the living quarters. After everyone was in the living quarters aside from Ochaco, Izuku, and Eri, the trio decided to surprise them a little. Ochaco was holding on to Eri while entering the living quarters. Everyone saw Ochaco trying not to laugh. The hell is so funny, round face? You know why we had to wake you all up, right? Katsuki asked in anger. While Ochaco was trying to hold in her laughter, everyone heard a ding come from the elevator. Once the elevator opened, they saw a boy with green hair and freckled face walk out. Everyone was in shock, to say the least. They saw their broccoli-headed cinnamon roll awake and alive and smiling. Hey guys! What'd I miss? Izuku said, like he didn't just wake up from going through hell. Before he could say anything else, Kirashima ran up to Izuku in a bear hug. Midobro! You're too manly for this world. Everyone, even Bakubro, was worried. You're officially the overly manly man, Kirashima shouted, sobbing man tears. Kirashima, I can't breath, Izuku said, struggling to breath. Oh. Sorry, Midobro. I got carried away, Kirashima said. It's alright, Izuku said, smiling. Damn it, Midoriya. First you rush into battle against some asshole that killed the devil, then you actually go through hell. What is going through your head lately? What's next? You're gonna go challenge every SAI dash. Tokoyami was cut off by Tsu covering his beak. Don't give him any more ideas. Ribbit, Tsu said with worry and annoyance in her voice. Midoriya, what was hell like? Not that I ever want to go there, I'm just curious. Was it really blistering hot? Was it scary? How mean was everyone? Mina asked, bombarding Izuku with questions. Guys, I'm fine. But to answer your question, yes, it was terrifying. There are 9 circles and the only one that was hot was the circle heresy. And not to mention most the circles were so loud that it would put President Mike to shame, Izuku said. Hey Ochaco! Why don't we let Izuku play Dante's Inferno to see how accurate it is? Ribbit, Tsu said. That's only if Deku is okay with it, Ochaco said, not wanting to trigger any flashbacks. Oh, sure, I'll play it, Izuku said with a smile. Deku! A certain angry Pomeranian shouted. Oh! Hey Kaken! Your seat in hell is still warm, Izuku said, chuckling that made the rest of Class 1A laugh as well. Listen Deku, I'm sorry, Katsuki said, with everyone in shock and Momo and Todoroki spitting their tea out in shock. A 4? Izuku asked. Everything's stupid. And the thing I said that day, Katsuki said with his hair covering his eyes. Izuku was cut off from a hug from Katsuki, which led everyone in shock even more. Deku, take my advice and never take my advice, Katsuki said with tears in his eyes. I'll make sure he doesn't, Ochaco said, glaring at Katsuki. Alright, so shall we play the game Ochaco bought? Izuku asked. Yeah. Let's see if Dante is any manlier than Midobro, Kirashima said. After hooking up Ochaco's Xbox to the TV in the living quarters, everyone gathered around Izuku. Izuku decided to start a new game, and saw that he was playing as a crusader who had to save his wife from hell by going through hell. It was similar seeing that Izuku had to go through hell to save his adopted daughter, but the reason for him to go through hell is way different. Turns out Dante's wife got taken by Lucifer because he cheated on her. That's the least manly thing a man could ever do. Midobro already won the manly contest just with that, Kirashima said, disgusted at Dante already. After finally getting to the part where Dante goes to hell, he's shocked to see how accurate it is to hell. This is surprisingly accurate, Izuku said, kinda shaking. Deku, are you alright? This is actually accurate? Ochaco said, worried. Yeah, it was really scary. But Papa kicked their asses no problem, Eri said. Eri? Language? Ochaco said. Alright, where did she learn that word from? Izuku yelled. Everyone looked at Katsuki. What? It wasn't me. She probably learned it in hell. Who knows what word she learned there? Katsuki pointed out while nobody believing him. He's got a point, but if I hear her say another bad word, we're all blaming you, Katsuki, Izuku said, having everyone in shock, even Katsuki, after he called him by his first name. I'm sorry, Mama and Papa, Eri said with her head down. It's okay, sweetheart, we'll blame the demons this time before blaming the demon, Ochaco said, looking at Katsuki with another glare. After going through the game and having an awkward conversation with the circle of lust while Mineta was contemplating and started praying that he'll never be a pervert again, knowing damn well he'd be thrown in the whirlwind, to a puking section in the circle of gluttony with Izuku somehow smelling the game at this point. Everyone was questioning Izuku if it was actually like that. And sure enough, it was pretty similar to what he's seen. Izuku beat the game, easily, actually knowing what to actually do. All the circles were accurate. Well, I know where my father got his quirk, Todoroki said. And we now know where your mom got her ice quirk as well, icy hot, Bakugo said, remembering the last circle. While everyone was striking a conversation, Izuku was having a blank look on his face. Midoriya, are you alright? Ida asked in concern. Oh! Yeah, Ida, I'm fine, Izuku said, smiling. By the way, does my mom know about this? Izuku asked. Everyone shook their heads except for Bakugo. Well, I guess that's for the B-dash. Where's my son? Where's my Izuku? A lady said, barging in the dorms. And Mom? Izuku said, confused. As Izuku got up, Inko wrapped her son into her signature bear hug. Izuku! What's this I hear about you going through hell to save Eri? Inko said with worry and slight anger in her voice. Oh, Mrs. Midoriya, you would not believe what we had to do to keep him from it, but he just wouldn't budge, Tokoyami said. Mom. I had to do it to save Eri. What kind of hero would I be if I couldn't save someone who calls me Papa? Izuku said. Hero? More like legend, Mina said. Yeah. Midobro over here literally wouldn't let anything get in his way, Kirashima said. By the way, how'd you find out? Izuku asked. Oh. Katsuki told me, Inko said. After Izuku's mom told him, Izuku looked at Katsuki with a quick glare. What nerd! She'd have to know someday anyway, Katsuki said. Izuku, after hearing that you actually went to hell, I was so worried, Inko said. You weren't the only one, Ochaco said. After a long day of conversation and scolding and praising Izuku for going to hell and back literally, they all decided to go to the mall to hang out. After a while, they all heard rumors from other people in the mall that the League of Villains have all died in their sleep after meeting some guy with orange and yellow hair. After a while of hanging out, Mina squealing from the fact that Izuku and Ochaco are dating now, going through the arcade, and all that fun shit. Language? Ida, who are you talking to? Siro asked. I'm talking to the author writing this, Ida said. I guess I should tape up this fourth wall, Siro said after taping up the fourth wall. Anyway, after they got done hanging out in the mall, they all went back to the dorms and Izuku decided to train more with One for All to see how much more of his quirk he could use along with his fire breath and telekinesis as well. While Izuku was training outside the dorms, he sees Aizawa and All Might walking up to him. Well, if it isn't the Hellraiser himself, Aizawa said with a grin. Oh. Hey Aizawa-sensei! Hey All Might! Izuku said. Young Midoriya! I'm so proud of you! I should have never ever told you that you couldn't be a hero on that rooftop. Not a day goes by that I don't regret saying what I said. You've proven to be not only a hero, but a legend, All Might said, hugging Izuku. All Might! It's fine, Izuku said. Midoriya, I must say, you had us all worried. All Might here literally had to reassure us, especially Uraraka, Aizawa said. By the way, I heard that the League of Villains all ended up dying in their sleep after meeting Dianir. Could it be possible that you saw them in hell? All Might asked. After an explanation of what happened in hell, they were all shocked to say the least. Their OFA's cinnamon roll actually killed them in hell. But they realized that he didn't have much of a choice. Young Midoriya, you're still a hero. So don't let that get you down. You were in hell. There, you don't have a choice. I know you don't like killing, but like I said before, you were in hell. I know, but still, Izuku said with his head down. Midoriya, after signing whatever contract they signed to have them in the same trance as you, they were gonna die either way, Aizawa confirms. Yeah, I guess you're right, Izuku said. After All Might and Aizawa were chatting with Izuku, Izuku put in a little bit more training in before heading back inside. He spent more time with Eri and Ochaco than before. Katsuki would walk by then and think to himself, they're taking this family shit way too serious, and walk off with his drink. Mina was happy as can be that her ship came true, and Kirashima he'd acknowledge how manly Izuku is. Todoroki wasn't thinking if he was All Might's secret love child anymore, he was wondering if he was even human. Everyone was praising Izuku more than ever, but eventually everyone calmed down seeing Izuku doesn't care much for attention. He just wants to be a hero. Of course they acknowledged him as the strongest one in his class. Ochaco would have to keep an eye on him more than ever to make sure he doesn't do anything stupid like going through hell again. She kept thinking if he would go through hell just to save someone, then she couldn't imagine what he wouldn't do to save someone. Luckily the crime rate went way down, so Ochaco would think he would relax, right? Nope. He's way more on edge than ever. If some demon could do all that, then he couldn't be more careful. Deku, please relax. I doubt anyone is gonna try that again, Ochaco said. I can't relax. If a villain is able to do that, then I have to make sure to protect you, Eri, and everyone else. What if Dash? Izuku was cut off by Ochaco hugging him tightly, then kissing him. Deku, nobody is gonna try that again. I almost guarantee it. And because of last time, Principal Nizu boosted the security to make sure nobody does try that again. We have pro heroes working day and night, so please. Stop worrying. You've been through enough and you deserve to be at peace, Ochaco said. Yeah, I guess I should relax, but dash. No buts, mister. You lay your butt down and quit worrying, Ochaco said, bluntly cutting Izuku off. I guess there's no talking you out of it, huh? Izuku said. Nope. I'm not gonna stop till you rest, Ochaco said with her face in Izuku's chest. Oh, alright. Tomorrow we can go on a date. How does that sound? Izuku asked. That would be nice, Ochaco said. So, where's Eri? Izuku asked. She's with Momo and Todoroki. I guess I can rest easy knowing she's safe in their arms, Izuku said. After a long while of trying to get Izuku to relax, he somewhat relaxed but still didn't drop his guard. He would still jump and activate OFA if at the slightest of sounds, and Ochaco would have to reassure him that it's just someone from Class 1A or just a pro hero. Hell, not even the pro heroes who were guarding the dorm building were safe. Of course, Aizawa would have to put him through therapy so he didn't knock someone out on instinct. Needless to say, he ended up being diagnosed with PTSD. Ochaco, of course, was the most worried about him, though her and Eri were the only few who were able to calm him down. If anyone even dared set foot in the UA dorms, Izuku would beat the guards to the intruder, and beat them to a pulp in seconds. Needless to say, UA actually felt safe with Izuku, though still worried about him. Everyone started calling Izuku the guardian of UA. Izuku refused to kill, but that didn't mean he wouldn't hesitate to beat a villain to a pulp and turn him into the police. When the media tried to get into UA, let's just say they won't be bothering them anymore. Of course, Aizawa was more than happy about that. Izuku literally goes from cinnamon roll to guardian/hero mode in a split second. Slowly but surely, Izuku calmed down bit by bit thanks to Ochaco and Eri. Izuku eventually accepted that he and his little family was safe inside the dorm building. But when it came down to graduation, he was gonna hire some guards around his house inside and out. Quirk or no quirk?
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.